over President Trump's acting D&I director choice, Bill Pulte. The president now says he's nominating current U.S. Attorney and former SEC Chair Jay Clayton to head the intelligence agency. The announcement follows both the House and Senate failing to pass extensions of FISA 702 that allows wiretaps to monitor for foreign threats. Democrats say they were not voting due to Pulte's installation. President Trump now says he's calling off new military strikes against Iran if they didn't make a deal to end the war. Here's ABC's Karen Travers.
Now, there are a lot of questions because of this post. We have asked the White House for more clarity on this, have not received an answer yet, but it's not immediately clear what the president is saying was actually approved. Notably, at no point in this short post does he actually say deal, and he isn't providing details on what was agreed to.
Excitement building for the start of the World Cup. Tonight's first match in Mexico City between Mexico and South Africa. This is ABC News. U.S. weather agencies warning of more extreme storms in much of the U.S. because an El Nino has formed out in the Pacific Ocean once again with warmer than normal sea temperatures.
It is a very strong El Nino that has formed in the Pacific Ocean, according to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and meteorologists say conditions will strengthen over the next few months with water temperatures rising in the Pacific Ocean. Typically, that means a storm track hones in on Southern California in the winter months, leading to extreme flooding conditions, and the northern half of the U.S. and parts of Alaska are more likely to see warmer than average temperatures and dry conditions in the winter, but each El Nino is different in terms of timing and magnitude. Alex Stone, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes signing a reworked contract now worth over $500 million. That 2-year deal makes him the first person in the NFL to sign a deal worth $500 million. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
An Arlington officer is fired. More on that coming up. But first, check on your KIRO Newsradio traffic brought to you by Lake Washington Windows and Doors. In South Tacoma, North 5 at South 56, we have a collision blocking 2 right lanes. Also, that exit ramp is fully blocked. One car actually left the freeway and is up on the hill, so it's quite a scene, and drivers are slowing down to check it out. So we're bumper to bumper starting at State Route 512. Olympia to Tacoma has a 15-minute delay, taking you 45 minutes. Heading through Renton, northbound 167 just prior to 405. A collision was blocking, but it's been moved to your right shoulder. You're backed up to South 212. Auburn to Renton has a 10-minute delay, taking 20 minutes. We've got backups at the First Avenue South Bridge, where a marine crossing is underway. And through Seattle, South 5, stop and go from Northgate to the Ship Canal Bridge. North 5 slows near the Michigan curve in the downtown. Right now, Lake Washington Windows and Doors has given the first 40 June signups with 5 or more windows a free patio door plus 12 months free financing. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Nate Connors. An Arlington police officer accused of possessing child pornography has been fired by the city. Dustin Bartlett, a nearly 8-year veteran of the department, was terminated after an internal investigation. Bartlett was arrested in May after Island County investigators served a search warrant at his Camino Island home. The investigation began when his girlfriend reported finding suspected child pornography on his computer. Bartlett was placed on administrative leave following the arrest and then later arrested again for allegedly violating a domestic violence no contact order. It's a mixed picture in the housing market, with Seattle feeling some pullback. Redfin reports the national median home price hit a record of just over $400,000, but demand is cooling, with pending sales down for the 4th straight week. In Seattle, sales are down 12% year over year, and prices are edging lower. High mortgage rates, now in the mid-6% range, are also pricing many buyers out. For months, Aurora Avenue neighbors have been asking for city leaders to do something about the gun violence in their community. Today, the city has a response. KIRO News Radio's John Repp reports.
Today's press conference includes Seattle City Council members and Mayor Katie Wilson, along with the police chief. Earlier this week, Keith Carpenter, pastor of Epic Life Church in North Seattle, called out city leaders specifically.
Council member District 5, please show up. Mayor, please show up. People are being shot at. Houses are being shot at. There's bullets coming through walls where infants are sleeping.
Council members have recently called for closure of several streets as well as a longer-term strategy. John Repp, KIRO News Radio.
The restaurant inspection map that some King County diners rely on is finally back online.
Don't eat it, just eat it.
The county stopped updating the food safety ratings website last November during a major technology upgrade. Now you can search for restaurants, check food safety scores, and review inspection histories. Public Health, Seattle and King County says it's also exploring improvements to make the map more user-friendly. And now check out your KIRO News Radio weather forecast. Sunny and 72 this afternoon, and then sunshine for the next week. 74 tomorrow, and then the heat is on. 80 Saturday, 88 Sunday, 90 on Monday. Sunny and 62 over downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio. With your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome to the Jake and Spike Show, Thursday edition. I'm Spike O'Neill. Sitting to my right, your left if you're looking on the YouTube channel. If you're not watching the show on YouTube, you're missing half the experience. Go to the KIRO app, KIRO News Radio app, and get downloaded today and get yourself involved. Our YouTube channel. Mike Lewis, welcome to the show, my friend.
Always happy to be here, Spike.
Well, it's underway, Mike.
It's actually kind of interesting because I think the last several times we've been on air together, it was not on your show.
No, it was somewhere else.
Yes, somewhere else.
But
somewhere
else. It was a fine
other show.
A fine show that runs just on the heels of ours, the John Curley Show. We get to do that together. But now we get you here for the noon to 3 audience, and we're really glad to have you. I've had a lot of coffee. It's underway, Mike, and not this show. World Cup 2026.
I know.
Is officially, underway. It's Mexico and South Africa do they kick off?
Yeah.
Is that what they call the game?
It's not a kickoff that changes possessions. It goes teammate to teammate, and then the game starts rolling.
They started center, and they kick off.
Yeah.
Well, it's underway. And our first game here in Seattle is, of course, this Monday. Are we ready? Well, we're ready or not, here it comes. World Cup is coming. Lots of World Cup news, and not just here in Seattle, which we talked last time you and I worked together. It was about a week ago, and the mayor had still at that point in time not decided to avail the city of every resource at its disposal with regard to security. Mayor saw the light, was given cover by federal and local agencies of about non-specific but general threats that were credible, that allowed the mayor to save face.
Turn on the cameras.
Maybe save lives and turn on the cameras. Did you see the floating party barge soccer field?
Yes, I did.
That is docked. It's now docked.
I have a friend who's going to be out on that.
So tell me what this is. Is this because all I know
it's exactly as it's described.
The only reference I have is that bachelor party from Crazy Rich Asians.
Yes.
Where they rented. Is it very similar except without the rocket launcher?
I think without the rocket launcher.
Okay.
It's not a full size soccer field. It's a mini soccer field.
They're not going to have rain or sounder games on this barge.
That's my assumption at this particular point. But I think that will a game break out? Probably. They probably hope it will. I think it's a great idea. I mean, the thing that was surprising to me is that we are not currently in Seattle doing concerts out on the pier, which is very, very near where the party barge is going to be floated. We were supposed to start, then they canceled the series again. And it was when I first got into town, there was a concert series out there. Now, that was always where, you'd have it. I don't remember which pier number is it. I think
it's 62.
62,
yeah.
At 62, it was great because you'd see all the people get out there in their boats, the freebies,
the flotilla.
And they just hang out and watch the concerts. And I thought they'll probably get that thing back up and going too, during this world, because so many tourists in town. It's a great venue, but it didn't seem to happen. But I like the idea of them putting the party barge out there. I also like the idea that the ferry system has kind of gotten into it as well. And I know that one of the Seattle's rental units are down from last year's total. So the non-World Cup year. I think people just stayed away.
Yeah, the Airbnb market, while the prices are up 24% from last year at this time because of World Cup, the rentals, we are the only World Cup host city whose Airbnb numbers are lower than last year's number.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising, right? But the thing that's actually kind of interesting is that we also, a lot of friends who say live on Bainbridge Island and other places are finding that they did pretty well with this because the nice thing about, say, if you stay out on Bainbridge Island, is that you can take a ferry almost directly to the stadium. I mean, you're walking distance once the ferry arrives. You don't have to deal really with any traffic. You can. So I think that some other alternatives, as far as getting around Seattle isn't always easy. And I think some other alternatives actually probably are showing increased rentals, while Seattle itself, it's a 2%. So I'm assuming that the people who expected to really make bank on this particular event, triple rates, things like that,
right,
they're not seeing that. But I think that most people who are trying to rent a place are probably still doing okay.
You think there'll be a last-minute surge? I know folks are hoping because prices are dropping by the hour with regard to rental place, hotels or homes.
I think there will be. I mean, most people don't have the fortitude to go without to risk lodging up until the last second. Many people have the fortitude to risk tickets until the last second because that's when the price is typically. I mean, if you're willing to go have your app, your secondary market app ready to go.
Yeah.
I mean, my advice, if you're really wanting to go to a World Cup game, hang out near the stadium, keep refreshing that thing, wait till kickoff, and then watch ticket prices plummet.
Did you see that?
And you'll be able to get in for 90% of the game.
A fraction of the price off for 3 days or a week ago.
That's likely what will happen. I'm sorry, I'm not making any promises.
Did you see where Airbnb, the company, has bought 1,600 World Cup tickets, and they are goosing some of their rental properties. If you rent these Airbnb properties for World Cup in Seattle, they come with tickets.
Yeah.
There's like a soccer ball icon that you can see on the particular available rentals.
Right.
To let folks know what to do.
Yeah.
Now, is this Airbnb, you think, making it up to their customers, their host homes? Because a lot of people, they had a big push to sign up new homes for rentals, things like that, and they've got long-term renters who are missing out on summer rental opportunities in Seattle. Like I said, numbers are down from a year ago.
Right.
Is this them trying to make their users whole?
I don't know that Airbnb has a lot of concerns about their users being made whole. I think they feel like they're providing a platform, and it's kind of up to you. I mean, that's typically been my reaction to Airbnb. But I would say that it's an interesting gimmick. I mean, there were a lot of the problems with tickets early on is that so many blocks of them were purchased by businesses looking to do some sort of value added on whatever service they're offering. And so Airbnb was one of those purchasers.
One of those people, they already had the tickets.
Yeah, they already had the tickets. And so, I mean, fair enough. If people have waited this long, if I were Airbnb, I would have been doing that 3 months ago.
Well, 3 months ago, they thought they would have the event that they were promised from FIFA organizers.
Right.
Well, these expectations of 750,000 people and nearly $1 billion in generated revenue, they were all projections in conjunction with FIFA and the FIFA Organizing Committee in Seattle to local businesses and hotels and whatnot.
I'm always, anytime, be it the Seattle Chamber of Commerce or be it an international crime ring that FIFA is.
I know your opinion of FIFA, and I'd love for our audience. That's one of the things I was glad to have this conversation with
when
you
the
here.
Beneficiaries of any sort of potential economic projection are the ones coming up with that economic projection, I'm always a little skeptical, right? And everyone should be. These are very, very, very squishy numbers. Will Seattle make money? Sure. Would Seattle? The big question for me is this: the question I would like to see answered, and hopefully maybe a reporter here or someone else can do that. I'd be very curious just to say from tourist revenue, once we go from June 1st to
July,
Labor Day.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good.
Whether Seattle had a better year or a worse year than the prior year. That would be interesting to me to see, because what happens sometimes in things like World Cup is that money that would have been spent elsewhere gets spent here. So it's a transference of dollars within an economy. It's not necessarily new dollars.
Fresh dollar. Okay.
World Cup ostensibly should be because a lot of people traveled, although we didn't get any help from Washington, D.C. on encouraging travelers to the United States. And in particular, the fact that the feds made quite a lot of hay out of offering the DEA to come here and warn people about fentanyl. I don't know that necessarily encouraged tourists to any great degree.
I think you're right. It's probably detrimental.
It was detrimental. That was the intent.
That's the thing. And not just the DEA, but you look at the games played down in Mexico and the games played up in Vancouver. Those games are beyond expectation for popularity because folks literally just don't want to risk coming into the USA.
And the funny thing is, like, objectively, having spent time in Mexico City and a lot of time in Seattle, objectively, Seattle is, Vancouver maybe not, but Seattle is much safer than Mexico City. I mean, considerably.
When you're worried about dealing with agents as opposed to criminals, street criminals. A couple quick questions I want to ask
Sure.
you. You mentioned FIFA being,
Yeah. International Criminal Organization, yes.
Your words, but I fully respect and echo. They are defending the exuberant prices.
Yeah, of course they
exorbitant,
are.
I should say. Not exuberant. They're exuberant. Prices are exorbitant.
Yeah, they're happy.
I mean, they know they're bilking American game attendance because they know they can. They know this is a rich country. I mean, the prices for this World Cup as opposed to previous and other foreign locations is 3-4-fold.
I am not sympathetic to FIFA in this regard if ticket sales are down. I am sympathetic to businesses that didn't know where to go. They didn't know how much they needed to ramp up from staffing and whatnot and could end up with a more expensive event than a lucrative event. However, these are optional costs. Like, you don't have to buy a ticket. You don't have to buy a ticket. You can watch all of these games in a sports pub, in a soccer bar with a whole bunch of people who are enthusiastic.
Hell,
and you can
community watch parties.
Yeah,
They're everywhere.
and as much as I feel like I think FIFA is a deeply, deeply flawed, if not so flawed it can't actually be fixed. But I do think that people charge what they're going to charge for tickets, and if the one way to react to that makes sense to drive ticket prices down is to not buy them. That's a simple technique.
It is an opt-in experience.
It's an opt-in experience.
Yeah. I think I wanted to ask you, as a local business owner, right, who pays taxes, and you watch your taxes, the resources being used for betterment of the city and the client base that you're looking to earn a living with. When you see things like extra ferries, they now have 20 of 21 ferries in service for the World Cup games. They have not just full staff, and they have extra standby bench staffing available because they want to, as you mentioned, it's going to be a walk-up experience. There's going to be no cars in that downtown perimeter of the stadium. It's the last mile they call it. You can't even get it within of. Do you think that, are you angry? My co-host Jake is just livid that they can get it together for the World Cup, but they can't get it together for the folks who pay the taxes to fund these systems.
Well, I mean, I would say the folks who pay the taxes can take every advantage of these extra ferries. I mean, but
they'll be gone by August 1st.
But the ferry system ramping up for a major event in town, I think, makes some sense. I mean, personally, my taxes go toward all kinds of things. Some of which I'm supportive of, and some of which I'm less supportive of. I try not to hair split on that. It doesn't really bother me all that much. I'm glad that the city is the ferry system is doing this, and it also underscores what I was saying earlier. Like, I think that you're going to find that cities on the other end of the ferries, especially the ferries that arrive in Seattle at the main dock, maybe less so West Seattle, Bremerton, Bainbridge Island.
Bremerton,
they're probably going to do well by this. I mean, think about it. You could stay for a quarter the cost in Bremerton. You could spend 50 minutes on a ferry across the Puget Sound.
Right.
Maybe you're lucky enough to see a pod of orcas. You're certainly looking at Mount Rainier. You end up right at the stadium. You've dealt with zero traffic. You had a beer on the thing on the way over.
You don't have to. You can have a lot of beers. You have to drive home
to the game. You don't have to drive. Like literally, that's exactly what I would have done. That is such a great way to, and you could stay in town as long as you want, and then later on that evening, you again don't drive home. Like, I'm hoping that cities like Bremerton and Bainbridge Island, that they actually do quite well with this. And I props to the savvy travelers who figured this one out, that they are not going to have, there is no, what there's never is especially with a expanded ferry service, what there never is traffic jams. And so you can actually,
not as a walk-on, no.
You can actually, not as a walk-on.
That's a great question, because since it's a no-drive area downtown, are there going to be cars? There's going to be cars, right? Deviated away from downtown, from the game corridor?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I don't know specifically what the traffic patterns are. We do have people here at KIRO who are experts in that sort of thing, so we should probably ask them.
Those folks.
But I don't know about that, but I do know that. I mean, I think that the extra ferry service is great, because you don't really need. The reason you have extra ferry service is what they have regularly does actually handle the load. So I don't mind that they're stepping it up because there's going to be extra people in town. That makes sense. They should open up the door to doing that more frequently when we do have a major sort of event like that. I would think that would make sense as well. But the World Cup is an unusual one in that it lasts for an extended period of time. Right. So what people do is they come into town for 3 weeks or something along those lines, and they end up doing a lot of things. Frequently involved maybe going out to the Olympic Peninsula or going out to Bainbridge Island or something like that.
We mentioned this earlier in the week, and there's been some consternation about they did all this traffic mitigation prior to the events of the 5 weeks of games here in Seattle with regard to like the I-5 Revive project being wide open and business as usual. I love having a 35-minute commute instead of an hour and 15-minute commute every morning now. But then there's no parking at the games. All those parking garages in downtown Seattle at the stadiums are not open to the public. No cars are allowed. I was talking to somebody who's in security who asked to speak with anonymity. Said it's a safety concern for a horrific event. I mean, that it's not because they don't want to have traffic coming in. It's flow of, it's because they can't guarantee that something untoward wouldn't happen in those garages, which is pretty eye-opening for me. I was amazed at how much. In the last week, it's been revealed how much coordination there is with regard to like how the mayor decided to finally turn the cameras on.
Right.
How many federal agencies were involved? How many different resources are involved from both federal and state? We have helicopters from Spokane. We have motorcycle cops from Tukwila or Eastern Washington, I believe it is. Kennewick. Their motorcycle cops are going to escort teams in and out of the facilities. The amount of preparation, safety preparation, not just logistically, but safety-wise, it's eye-opening.
Yeah, I mean, you start a war before the World Cup.
There have been issues already about access to the country. Did you see the Somali referee who was denied access? Yeah. He had a diplomatic visa and was just because the federal response from DHS, and I believe it's Giuliani's son is in charge. I think it's Andrew Giuliani. They won't give specifics, but anybody who has contacts with a terrorist supporting organization, I forget which of the Hunties or that this referee was somehow associated with, guy wasn't allowed access to the games, to the country.
There's as much as I'm not a fan of certainly many immigration policies by the current administration, I would say this. I wish that of all these stories, and I've read a bunch of stories about this, I do wish that we could have some point of comparison on World Cups in other places and the last World Cup here, which was quite a long time ago, or the last big event here, say the last Olympics here, or something like that, where you get a lot of international travelers. Because I'd be curious to say, like, that we're getting, admittedly, like, this is a ref and considered one of the best referees in all of Africa. That's how you get this job. I mean, that's like getting called to if you're an umpire in minor league baseball, that's like getting called to the big leagues, right? This is a big, big deal, and it actually can really make your career for the period after that, especially if you have a good showing. Because remember, the players are all being assessed by us and pundits. The refs are being assessed by FIFA. Like, this is a way, like, this is actually a tryout for some of them to move to that next level. But I would say that I'd be curious to know when there are these international events, and certainly the World Cup, which moves every 4 years and moves to a different place every 4 years, how many times that people are denied access. And I bet it is probably a little more common. And I'm not suggesting that I'm a fan of what's going on right now.
I hear what you're saying.
But I wish that there was a point of context. Like, hey, if it's 7 people, a couple of people on this team, a referee over here, like, is that actually kind of normal for the World Cup? Because we're so hyper-focused now on all of this stuff regarding immigration in the United States, and we're watching this, and there's a lot of attention being paid. But is this sort of do these things happen every single World Cup? And is this kind of the norm? And that's the context that I wish that this actually had.
I haven't. It's the first time somebody's mentioned that to me, because I've been hearing the same rage bait.
Absolutely,
they're not letting players in. They're not letting referees.
And I'm not excusing it in any way. But I just don't know how I'm supposed to feel about this until I actually know the context of it. Right?
Yeah, and the fact that this referee is Somalian, and that nationality has been targeted by this administration is why the rage baiters
as garbage people
have so much so much ammo. Coming up, what I didn't realize until recently was I think the USA got World Cup 2026 probably because it was already a party going on. The 250th anniversary, the semi-quincentennial of America. Next, we're going to talk about the preparations and your tax dollars being used in ways I hope you're proud of. It's the Jake and Spike Show with Mike Lewis. We'll be right back.
KIRO News Radio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards. including overall excellence and investigative reporting.
Just 29 hours later, Joshua Headley sent an unsolicited email to me writing, "I understand there may be a news story coming out."
Thank you who listen, stream, and watch every day. The driving force that pushes us to be the Northwest trusted news source. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Well, the weather forecast is calling for record temperatures maybe this weekend. How's your house insulation? How'd your roof hold up during the winter rain season? If you don't know, you may want to give my friends at Integrity Roofing and Construction a call today. Schedule free roof assessments. Schedule a video inspection. Integrity's got years of experience in roofing, restorations. They got a full design team. They can do it all for you. Give them a call at 206-202-ROOF or go on their website, integrityrc.com. Check out the amazing reviews. One of them was mine. They took great care of our home. integrityrc.com.
Has your junk drawer taken over the whole house? Closets jammed, garage packed, pantry a mess? Don't just live with it. John Curley here for Closets by Design. Organize your closets, garages, laundry rooms, and home offices with Closets by Design. Everything is custom built for how you actually live. For a limited time, get 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. Go to closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Under these arches, opposing teams are put to the test. Can they hear themselves over the boom of the 12s? Can they withstand the Seattle elements? Can they compete against us? Touchdown! Seahawks! This city lives for Sunday. Get your tickets for Seahawks game days at Lumen Field and experience what this city lives for. Visit Seahawks.com today.
You could sleep through the night without thinking twice. You could take a seat in the middle of the theater. You could drive without worry of where the next restroom is. You used to say yes, and somewhere along the way, you stopped. Not because of one big moment, because of 100 small ones. A little more urgency, one more trip to the bathroom at 2 a.m., one more mental note about where the restroom is. It happened slowly enough that it just became you. But it's not you. It's enlarged prostate, and there's a treatment called aquablation therapy, the only ultrasound-guided robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Find an aquablation therapist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466, 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks, and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
Hey, John, why don't you tell everybody why you started going to Longevity Medical Clinic?
No, I don't want to do that. I can tell you, I started going to Longevity Medical Clinic before I started doing these commercials, but that why I went is not important.
Oh, it absolutely is.
Okay. I'll tell you. I was a Sammamish City Council member, and whenever they had asked me to do the Pledge of Allegiance, I couldn't make it through the whole thing without crying. I know, it's so dumb. I mean, I know I'm patriotic, but what the heck? So I go into Longevity Medical Clinic, and I explain this to them, that there's something wrong with my hormones or something, and they see the testosterone and the estrogen are all out of balance. We balance all that stuff, and I can do the Pledge of Allegiance without crying, but I've also noticed that I deal with stress a lot better, don't I?
Yes, you're a lot easier to live with because you're getting more sleep, you have more energy, you're better organized, and I'm not helping you look for your car keys every morning.
Right, because now I've taken the steps to take care of my mind and body. I strongly recommend anybody get the free health analysis at lmclinic.com. That's lmclinic.com.
If you got into a car accident, you can negotiate with the insurance company yourself. Or you can make the wise decision and call the Herald Car Law offices. They handle the paperwork while you recover. They negotiate with leverage, and they get you the recovery you actually deserve. An amount that's almost always higher than what you would have walked away with on your own. 7 locations across Western Washington and a free consultation at carlaw.com. There are 2 R's in car, C-A-R-R. Car accident? Call CAR. Online at carlaw.com.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it today at carsforkids.org. Your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call 1-877-CARS4KIDS to donate your car today. That's Cars with a K.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Nate Connors. A Ballard family known for feeding customers at Seattle area farmers markets is now receiving help from the community after a devastating fire. Seattle Fire says hot embers likely ignited a woodpile early yesterday morning, causing an estimated $500,000 in damage. Ben Chandler with the Wallingford Farmers Market tells KIRO 7 TV.
Right away, right after I got off the phone, stopped everything I was doing, didn't eat breakfast, didn't drink coffee, just hopped online and did my best to get a fundraiser up and running.
Friends say the family have spent years helping others, and now the community is returning the favor. Autopsies are confirming new details in the deadly paper mill implosion in Longview. The Cowlitz County coroner says the victims died from alkaline chemical burns. The report released today covers 10 of the 11 people killed at the site. The final victim died at a hospital. The victims ranged in age from 26 to 58. Investigators are still working to determine what caused the chemical implosion. Seattle is boosting support for small businesses hit by crime and vandalism. The city's Back to Business program is increasing reimbursement limits for repairs and security upgrades. Businesses can now get up to $5,000 per incident for damage. That's up from $3,000, and up to $10,000 for security improvements. The program has already provided more than $1 million in grants since launching last year. Applications are open through the end of the year or until funds run out. A victim in our state lost more than $2 million to a scheme promising to lift a bad luck love curse. Federal prosecutors say a Texas couple posed as psychics, convincing at least 3 victims to send cash and gold for so-called cleansing rituals that never worked. Investigators say the suspects targeted people dealing with grief, isolation, or relationship struggles. The alleged scam brought in at least $2.5 million overall. The suspects now face multiple fraud charges and could get up to 20 years in prison if convicted. And now look at Wall Street. Stocks are climbing sharply as Trump says he's canceling planned strikes on Iran. The Dow up over 1,000 points, S&P 500 up 141, and the NASDAQ up nearly 650. And now check out your KIRO News Radio traffic brought to you by the KIRO News Radio app. South Tacoma, North 5 at South 56. Our collision now is blocking just the off-ramp, so that opens up a couple lanes for you. And that has allowed that earlier backup to thin out considerably. South 5 through JBLM, we've already got a thick 3-mile backup approaching that main gate. Up in Renton, northbound 167 just before 405. Our earlier collision is now blocking the right lane. You're backed up to 180th. And if you're heading through South Center, North 5 approaching South 200th, a crash blocks the HOV lane. You're backed up to 516. Federal Way to Seattle is up. It's about a half hour. Text the app to 888-973-5476 to download the KIRO News Radio app. Listen to your favorite shows and get the latest news and updates sent straight to your phone. And now check out that weather. Sunny into next week with summer temperatures kicking in this weekend. 72 today, 75 tomorrow, 80 Saturday, and near 90 on Sunday and Monday. Sunny and 64 in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Jake and Spike Show. I'm Spike O'Neill. Mike Lewis in for Jake Skorheim today. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So it's not quite officially summer. That doesn't happen for another week or so. I think the 21st is the summer solstice, right? Sunsets after 9 p.m., though, is really nice.
Don't even bring it up.
Beautiful.
I'm already getting mopey about it.
Oh, no. Why? What?
No. Not about it being late, about it getting shorter again.
Oh.
It seems to happen so quickly.
Are you one of those guys that when you start vacation?
I start getting worried about it or getting bummed about it in like late April.
That it's
I'm just 2 months away from the days getting shorter. I like it when it gets long like this.
I love it. I'm the same guy. When I'm on vacation, second day vacation, I've only got 7 days
Yeah, exactly.
left. I doom scroll my own mind. Well, summer's here, and it's vacation time. We mention that because there are over 100 national parks in America, and they're funded by federal dollars, they're budgetary dollars. Also, park entrance revenue, whether it's at the gate of a park or it's online. 11 senators, including our own Adam Schiff from California. No, he's not ours. I was Adam Smith. 11 senators have written a letter wanting explanations as to why and how much of the federal park budget is being diverted to the celebration of our 250th national birthday in D.C. We talked, I think you and I talked last week about the reflecting pool, not the lake. It's been called by various.
Right.
A $13 million renovation repair has been completed at the Lincoln Memorial Reflecting Pool. And I bring this up because they're diverting these park dollars. While at times when parks are being closed, maintenance is being diverted, or if not ignored. You don't have as many facilities available. Trash collection has been suspended. Some parks have like 3 ranges to cover hundreds of square miles of park territory.
Right.
And we're doing this, all this money is being diverted to what's been called the vanity projects.
Right.
From President Trump in celebration to his birthday, not just the nation's birthday.
Right. The funny thing in this, not really funny, but interesting thing, I guess, in this is that for a president who is exceptionally transactional, right? Like that is his sort of decision tree.
That's his MO. That's how he deals with everything.
And why not? I mean, this is the perfect place, like was done for the inauguration and was done in other circumstances. Sell corporate sponsorships for this one. I mean, why not? Why not do something like that and let the national park money stay in the national parks and at least do some routine maintenance and keep some people on who may have been laid off? I can't imagine that all of the companies that have shown an incredible willingness to cater to the president's whims, that they wouldn't have stepped up with all the money needed to make some giant. And I don't care if if there's anything more American than the 250th birthday party being sponsored by Walmart. I don't know what is, right? And so why in the perfect opportunity to do this sort of thing, to demand, a genuflection from corporate America and have them pony up, the hundreds of millions of dollars that this thing is going to cost? Why did they just do that? It would have been so easy in this case.
Well, I think you're right, but that to me peels back the layers of a deeper onion, if you will. With regard to the ballroom, right? $400 million in private donations to pay for the ballroom. To your point, that's perfect. The problem is those donors, and they kept the list privately, but we know that there are the big players involved, the Googles of the world, the Metas of the world.
Right.
They then are receiving sweetheart deals from the government. That's a pay-to-play. And that's what gets dangerous in this, because at that point you can't be sure that the decisions being made by our government are in the best interest of the nation. I mean, it's one thing if they're just making the most money for the government. To your point about sponsorship, that'd be great. What we're seeing happen, though, is like, say, with regard to the UFC fight on the White House lawn, it's private money funding. The UFC is paying the $60 million to erect the venue for this. I think it's Sunday. Is the big match on the White House lawn. But all the sponsorship opportunities are using the White House as a backdrop, as a prop, using the Lincoln Memorial for weigh-ins and for opening ceremony of this thing. This is all private corporations making private profits, not the U.S. taxpayer. They're using that's why the lawsuit, there's a lawsuit currently by 2 people, a Virginia resident and an Air Force retiree, trying to stop this UFC fight because they're saying they are using public resources, the Monument District.
Understood. But, I mean, all of these same companies are spending every year without there being a celebration, hundreds of millions of dollars on lobbying that is getting them the same benefit. So I mean, the idea that people pouring money into government gets them special treatment, I think that cat's out of the bag. No, and in an old folks home at this point.
Fair enough.
So I'm not sure.
New.
I mean, if they chose to do something that sort of has the at least the
veneer of patriotism?
Well, no, or the veneer of transparency, publish the list of the donors. But the idea that somehow this 250th celebration is going to get people fair treatment that they couldn't purchase in another manner isn't so upsetting to me, because of course they can. Of course they can get that treatment if they pour money into lobby. I mean, it's pretty clear let's just use the tech. You mentioned Google. Let's use the tech industry. Our unwillingness to regulate that in any serious way at all. Our unwillingness has been the result of the tech industry getting smart way back when Bill Gates was having all the antitrust problems and was losing cases on this, and the company was genuinely at risk. You know what he did? He finally got engaged in the lobbying process and engaged, and every tech company has followed that playbook since. They all realize they cannot float outside it. They have to float within it. So I'm not sure. Do I like the fact that money sullies I don't know. Go back to Citizens United. I mean, that again is done. That die is cast. So I would just rather see, as a person who loves the national parks, I would love to see them, what limited funding they get, I would love to see that actually stay at least somewhat consistent, so they can hire people and they can do trail maintenance and they can do all the repairs that the national parks need.
That's our playground.
And if this president is as transactional as he apparently is, I don't understand why. The ballroom is another example of that. Get your corporate sponsorships. Are those corporations going to get some benefit as a result of that? 100%.
Yeah, but like you said,
am I shocked or surprised?
It's naive for me to think that's
no.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shame. I'd rather it wasn't like this. I'd rather we just pay as we go as a government. But that's just not happening.
But here's where I have, and you're right. You're spot on. I'm very naive to think that this is something new or something that we shouldn't be tolerating. We've been tolerating it for decades.
Right.
But the problem is, the government's not profiting from this. The president is profiting from these situations.
Well, that's been a problem for a while, yeah.
Well, there also are rules in place about insider trading, about self-dealing, about profiting from the office, and those are all just being ignored.
I agree. But, all of that.
I mean, look, people tell me I get just all bunched up about the reflecting pool, right? And it looks better, Spike. What do you care? The original projected budget for that repair that was done to the pool was like $1.3 million.
Right.
It cost our taxpaying dollars $13 million to get this done.
Right.
That's our resources, fourfold, being shoveled into somebody's pocket because the president doesn't go through the proper. It was a no-bid contract, but the company had no experience in the. There are reasons these rules are in place to make sure that the tax dollars they use from us to benefit us, we're getting the most out of them. And I don't think maybe I'm naive, but I don't think we should just give up and say, "Oh well, that's the way it is." The $13 million at the pool, they didn't touch the plumbing. The real problem there is it's got 60-year-old plumbing that's been leaking into the ground, and none of that was addressed.
I'm not suggesting that we give up. What I'm saying is simply, this president, surprising to me, who is exceptionally transactional, loves to get that corporate money flowing in, loves to make some sort of tacit promises based on that corporate money, had this giant platform to do it. If I had to pick between the president and the president's capacity for self-dealing and corporate influence based on money and actually having the national parks funded in the manner that they should be, I don't know. It doesn't to me feel like there is anything that is going to happen here with the 250th birthday that is going to prevent. If we move money from the National Park Service, does that mean suddenly the administration is going to change its transactional nature?
No, not nothing.
So if that is the weather system we're dealing with, I still like to see the national parks get their money.
I would too, brother. All right, folks, when we come back, we're going to talk about just a horrific experience at a rodeo, a bull riding event.
Rodeo,
and some injuries occurred, and there's a lawsuit coming on. We're going to talk about what risks do you assume when you go see an event or any kind of event in public. It's the Jake and Spike Show with Mike Lewis. We'll be right back.
KIRO News Radio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards. Breaking news coverage, best newscast, excellence in writing, investigative reporting, sports reporting, hard news. Capped with a prestigious prize for overall excellence.
And we thank you, our audience across the Pacific Northwest. You are the reason we strive to be the Northwest's trusted news source. KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM.
Did you really think Pure Talk was just going to sit back and watch America turn 250 years old without doing something awesome to celebrate? Of course not. That's why they're raising $250,000 for America's Warrior Partnership by the end of July. America's Warrior Partnership is on the front line of preventing veteran suicide. They've had extraordinary success, and here's how you can help. When you switch your cell phone service to Pure Talk this month, you'll be invited to round up to support America's Warrior Partnership. No pressure, but if you do, Pure Talk will match your donation dollar for dollar. And to further celebrate 250 years of our extraordinary democratic republic, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for just $34.99 a month. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. That's pound 250, say Mike Rowe. And happy birthday to us.
Spring is the perfect time to make improvements that protect and add value to your home. Hi, Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. For decades, homeowners across the Pacific Northwest have trusted our team for roofing, siding, windows, and custom decking. This spring, save up to $3,000, or qualified homeowners can take advantage of zero down, zero payments, and zero interest up to 24 months. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to schedule your free estimate.
Nothing worse than clutter. With Closets by Design, everything will finally have its place. 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. ClosetsByDesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better, live stronger. Start now.
Running a small business means juggling a lot. Your network has to handle it all. That's where a fiber-only provider falls short. You deserve a partner who gives you a greater advantage. Introducing the Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A first-ever combination of the largest, fastest fiber-powered network, the most reliable Wi-Fi, gig speeds with equipment and security included, and a 5-year price lock. Plus, it's all backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee. The Total Solutions Advantage only from Comcast Business. A new standard for small business with reliability, security, and savings in one. When you add it all up, no one does business like Comcast Business.
Switch today. Get started for $60 a month for 12 months when you add an advanced solution to a qualifying internet package. Limited time offer. New customers only. Requires 300 megabits per second internet, security edge, and additional qualifying service. 1-year agreement, paperless billing, and autopay with bank account required. Taxes and fees extra. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA Fixed Broadband Experience Report, May 2025.
Hey Mariners fans, don't let traffic hold you back from spending your summer at T-Mobile Park. Take the light rail. With stops from Linwood to Federal Way and the brand new Cross Lake line that serves Redmond, Bellevue, and Mercer Island, it's never been easier to catch a game at the best ballpark in baseball. 2026 is packed with marquee matchups, collectible giveaways, fireworks shows, and an epic 50-season celebration featuring the franchise greats you love on August 8th. See the full schedule and get your tickets at mariners.com.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Perungo and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com. CMHeating.com.
If your water heater's failing or running out too fast, we've got CM Heating's Comfort as a Service program. Get a new system starting at just $44.99 a month with lifetime repairs and maintenance included. Book your free estimate today at CMHeating.com.
License number CMHEAHL 750LP.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for fast, friendly service with guaranteed repairs. With 16 family-owned locations and a Carfax preferred badge, Bucky's makes it easy with same-day service and available financing. Visit Bucky's.com.
Caregiving isn't just hard work, it's heart work. Every day, caregivers bring dignity, kindness, and comfort to those who need it most. Right now, Washington needs more caring hearts. Your kindness, your patience, your heart are needed more than ever. Caregiver Careers Washington will guide you every step of the way. Our friendly navigators help you find training, certification, and employment at no cost to you. Start your heart work today at caregivercareerswa.com. That's caregivercareerswa.com.
Sponsored by DSHS and aired by the WSAB and this station.
Welcome back to the show. Recently, at a rodeo in Oregon, a bull was in the ring being attempted to be wrangled by cowboys. The bull eventually jumped the ring, 2 6-foot steel fences. You've seen the rodeo fences. They're kind of like the swinging gates of a farmer. The bull jumped 2 fences into the crowd and then escaped the arena to make its way through the fairgrounds. There's about a minute-long video that they shared. We're not going to share because it's a little it's horrifying. But the bull made its way through the general fairgrounds into the concession area, eventually injuring several people. And now there's a lawsuit from these fairgoers against the organizers of the event, saying that they didn't provide safety protocols and safety requirements that they had promised in holding a rodeo. And they're suing for damages and for personal suffering, pain and suffering.
Yeah, so this is interesting. My guess is that the people who, it depends. So if you've looked at, and I think we're also going to be talking about a Mariners fan who got briefly famous being hit by a foul ball.
Foul ball right to the forehead.
Weirdly, her friend was actually filming her at the time when she got hit. So this thing has got like 22 million views or something like
gold.
that. But here's the thing. If you buy a ticket, take a look. If you've bought a ticket, if you have a ticket in your wallet right now, take a look at it. It has a disclaimer in it. You are actually not allowed to, if you are assuming liability, when you walk into every single baseball, in every stadium, you have this disclaimer that they are not assuming any liability. Now, will this stand up in court? Well, generally, federal courts have something they literally refer to as the baseball rule. The baseball rule is that no, you've assumed a level of liability, flying balls, flying bats, things like that, as long as the stadium has taken the basic level of precaution. Now, maybe you can argue that, and maybe over time that has been, but those lawsuits almost never, ever work. Now, I don't know. In this one, this was interesting because what doesn't happen to a bat that maybe goes into the crowd or a baseball that goes into the crowd is that baseball doesn't then travel out of the stadium and hit someone
run rampant on the concourse.
Yeah, it hit someone in Pioneer
Clubbing
Square.
People waiting for garden fries or garlic fries.
No. That's still in the stadium. What I'm saying is this bull got out of the ring.
Out of the ring.
So those folks who bought that ticket, I would guess at a rodeo, there is the same sort of disclaimer on that ticket because it's so pro forma for events. Maybe not in this case, but let's just say that it is. That bull got far enough away to the concessions area outside of the arena that those people probably do have a claim. They are in a concessions area. They did not buy a ticket that said they're going to be watching bulls. They bought a ticket that said, hey, go buy a burger.
Right, right.
But this pre-burger bull is actually going to come after you. And so
maybe that's why they targeted that.
Maybe this bull is finally getting one back.
There are a couple different lawsuits. One is a resident of Oregon, Bend, Oregon, Allison Hickey. I believe she's the lady featured in the video that's posted. A $9.25 million lawsuit against the Sisters Rodeo Association and rodeo contractor Corey and Lang Rodeo Company, because there's expectation of safety protocols with regard to enough people on staff to handle a bull. Are there situations planned for?
Yeah,
where a bull gets free. What's the containment processes?
The argument is going to be essentially, were these fences, which are largely successful in rodeos, were these fences actually adequate? I mean, obviously, this bull, is a pro athlete too,
Bull's name, by the way. Party bus. Party bus.
Great name.
Yeah, lived up to his name.
It's going to be interesting because I think that is where they're going to push to see if those are actually adequate. And my guess also is there's going to be some pressure on the organization to find a way to settle it because they don't want to have to change the standards because that's going to mean every rodeo arena in the United States. If this is a successful lawsuit about adequate protections, it's going to mean every arena is going to have to follow those same things. And so my guess is there is going to be some for the professional rodeo organizers, the tour. My guess is there's going to be some pressure to let's get this thing settled and let's not have to change the standards because it's going to be every rodeo in America is going to actually have to change to that standard. That'd be my guess.
It's funny when you mention that this is going to require if they win the lawsuit, industry changes. It's about who has the most money. Yeah. And the lawyers of the Rodeo Association will, of course, but they don't want this going to court. You're right. They're going to settle.
They don't want this going. They'll go a little farther with it, but my guess is at some point that it appears like it actually make it and have a trial. My guess is they're going to find some way to make all sides
make it go away.
To be clear, I don't know if you said this, that no one was seriously injured.
A woman, a shoulder broke, an arm broke.
Right. So serious injuries, but nothing
life threatening. No critical injuries. No permanent damage. We hope. We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're going to the rodeo, don't sit in the first few rows. I don't know, at least not in Oregon. Unless they get bigger fences.
Or go to the concession stands.
or get the burgers. Yeah, go for the nachos and don't get the beef. When we come back, we'll talk about data centers and the Seattle City Council's one-year moratorium on huge, massive data centers in the city of Seattle. It's the Jake and Spike Show with Mike Lewis with us. We'll be right back after these.
KIRO Newsradio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards, including overall excellence and investigative reporting.
Just 29 hours later, Joshua Headley sent an unsolicited email to me writing, "I understand there may be a news story coming out."
Thank you who listen, stream, and watch every day. The driving force that pushes us to be the Northwest trusted news source. KIRO Newsradio. 97.3 FM.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hoped it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Summer's supposed to be fun. When the kids are home all day, the groceries, they add up fast. G. Scott here with a quick heads up from Safeway. There's a program called Sunbucks that gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically and will get a card in the mail. Others need to apply. Take a minute to check. It could really help put food on the table for your family. Head to freesummermeals.org to find out more. That's freesummermeals.org.
You've got to try the new TikTok diet.
Just ask chat.
I just take blue-green algae.
You just have to eat kale. Kale.
I read you should put butter in your coffee.
Or you could trust your gut. When it comes to your energy, digestion, and overall health, how do you know what's actually right for you? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to show what's going on inside you right now. Not trends, not guesses, your biology. With your results, Viome gives you clear, personalized, actionable guidance. Which foods help you, which ones don't, and which supplements your body actually can benefit from. All based on the world's largest gut health databases and thousands of clinical research studies. Many people who use Viome report better digestion, more energy, and an improved mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing.
And maybe still eat the kale?
Maybe. Learn more at viome.com/know. V as in Victor, IOME.com/KNOW. And use coupon code VIOME50 to save $50 off your purchase.
And eat everything blue.
No, thank you.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, sinus headaches?
You've gone to the doctor. You visit urgent care over and over again. And it's always the same thing, right? Oh, I know. Let's try antibiotics and some nasal sprays. But they just keep coming back. You may suffer with chronic sinus infections. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure called the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic. Imagine a procedure so delicate there are no narcotics. Less cutting means less bleeding, so no packing, and no operating room. The Sinusoft procedure is designed for the clinic. If you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, and congestion, find out if the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic, is the solution for you. Call and set an appointment today. 206-388-2770. 206-388-2770. That's 206-388-2770.
Home Comfort Alliance, a Carrier factory authorized dealer delivering efficiency, reliability, and quiet performance every time. John Curley here. Upgrade to Carrier cooling and get a heating system free. Use their 60-second price estimator at homecomfortalliance.com.
I started Davis Law Group in 1994 to fight for the underdog. And as our team has grown, we've stayed true to that mission. Today, Davis Law Group is known for providing excellent service and even better results. Visit WashingtonAccidentBooks.com to get your free book on car accident law.
For the ones who get it done, Grainger offers the professional grade products you need, delivered when and where you need them. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by.
KIRO FM and HD1 Tacoma, Seattle.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. President Trump nominating former SEC Chair Jay Clayton to be the next Director of National Intelligence. His current acting director, Bill Pulte, has received bipartisan backlash. Lawmakers in the House and Senate today rejecting measures to extend FISA's wiretap tool to monitor for overseas threats. Democratic Senator Adam Schiff on Clayton's nomination.
It doesn't solve the Pulte problem, and that is there's no way I can see the extension of this 702 surveillance authority while an acting DNI, Bill Pulte, if he's allowed to go forward, has access to that data.
President Trump claiming Iranian leaders have approved what he calls final points on a peace deal. The president did not offer details, but says he's calling off his threat to strike Iran targets if they didn't make a deal. Mexico kicking off the World Cup today with the match between Mexico and South Africa getting underway. The largest World Cup tournament being co-hosted by Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. This is ABC News. In Southern California, Pasadena police say a so-called horseplay incident between two officers led to one being injured.
Two officers were allegedly playing with their guns when one went off. In newly released dashcam video, as one officer is pulling into the Pasadena Police Department garage, another officer at the back of his patrol SUV pulls out his gun and points it, seemingly jokingly, at the officer pulling in. The officer pulling in then pulls out his gun, again seemingly jokingly, but the gun fires. The bullet went through the windshield and hit the first officer in the shoulder. It happened last September, but just now has become known publicly. The chief calls it horseplay or failing to follow safety rules. The officer who was shot has recovered. The chief says the officers involved were disciplined. Alex Stone, ABC News.
The Pentagon lifted its temporary shelter in place this afternoon after hazmat crews responded to an incident. When systems triggered an air quality alert, Pentagon officials now say it was a false alarm. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Rescue boats respond to a call at the Fauntleroy Ferry Dock. Details coming up, but first a check on your traffic. Brought to you by Seattle Sports. Eastbound 90 inside the Mount Baker Tunnel. We've got a crash blocking two right lanes, and you're bumper to bumper onto I-5 right now. In fact, North 5 slows from the Michigan Curve into downtown. South 5, we're slow from Northgate to I-90. Over in Renton, North 405 approaching the Maple Valley Highway. We've got a new collision blocking that right lane. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Nate Connors. The Seattle Fire Department says crews responded to a report of a person in the water near the Fauntleroy Ferry Dock Wednesday afternoon. KIRO 7 TV reports rescue boats were dispatched around 3:10 p.m. and teams pulled a man out of the water. Crews tried to treat the 66-year-old, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. No word yet how he ended up in the water. Seattle city leaders announced a tougher response to the violence and sex trafficking along Aurora Avenue. The city is closing several side streets, installing barriers, and increasing police presence with dedicated patrols, bike units, and undercover operations. City Attorney Erica Evans.
To the Johns or buyers that are coming to Aurora or in any parts of our city to buy children or people, you will be arrested and we will prosecute you.
The city is also moving to shut down problem businesses and add prosecutors focused on gun violence and trafficking. Investigators say there are more than 20 active shooting cases tied to that area. More problems at King County's Regional Homelessness Authority after auditors say the agency still isn't addressing significant financial problems. KIRO News Radio's John Repp has the latest.
The news site Publicola reports not just one red flag, but 7 red flags from auditors. You'll recall the initial audit uncovered $13 million in money the agency couldn't account for, along with $44 million in operating deficits. Auditors now say the plan to fix those issues still ignores several high-risk problems. This all comes as County Executive Gurmai Zahalai gave his State of the County address last night.
In the first 6 months of this administration, we have spent significant time confronting the challenges that have tested public confidence.
John Repp, KIRO News Radio.
Well, the World Cup begins today as the tournament's opening matches kick off. In Western Washington, several cities are hosting watch parties. KIRO 7 TV's Ranji Sinha is in Everett.
The Everett Fan Zone opens here at 10 a.m. Now, tomorrow's match is USA versus Paraguay, and it opens at 4 p.m. Then on Thursday, June 18th, it's Mexico versus South Korea, and Fan Zone opens again at 4 p.m. And June 19th, USA versus Australia, Seattle-hosted match. That Fan Zone opens at 10 a.m.
FIFA World Cup tickets are still available for Seattle matches, and prices seem to be dropping. KIRO 7 TV's Brooke Griffin reports.
SeatPick says there are more than 2,000 tickets available for each of the first 4 matches here. The U.S. versus Australia has the least, with about 2,100 tickets still available. But those come at a hefty price. For that game, the tickets currently start at $1,800. They go to about $4,800 per ticket. For Seattle's first match on Monday between Belgium and Egypt, you can get tickets from $586 all the way up to $6,100, but those are pretty good tickets.
And the weather will be fantastic. Let's check out that forecast. Mostly sunny for the next week with temps warming up every day. 72 this afternoon, 75 tomorrow, 80 Saturday, and around 90 both Sunday and Monday. Sunny and 62 in downtown Seattle. I'm Nate Connors, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with the KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio. With your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome to the Jake and Spike Show. I'm Spike O'Neill. Mike Lewis sitting to my right. We're glad you're with us today. If you want to text the show, any thoughts you have on any of the topics that we cover, please do so. The Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line, 888-973-5476. 888-973-KIRO. For you folks that still look at the letters on your numbers on your phone. Old guys like me. Go to the YouTube channel, the Jake and Spike Show YouTube channel. You can watch the show in real time live or at your convenience whenever you want to. We love doing it for you. Mike, you and I spoke last week when we hosted the John Curley Show. We got into the AI. It was just announced that day, I believe, that the Seattle City Council was contemplating a one-year moratorium on the massive data centers proposed for the city of Seattle. They then voted, I think it was earlier this week, 9-0 to put this one-year moratorium during on these 4 new massive data. Was it 4 new massive data centers? And there are already 30 data centers operating within the city of Seattle.
Right.
They're of course smaller.
Right.
I don't know what that means. I mean, I don't know. A data center can be how small, how big can it be? And we're talking about 4. Currently, data centers eat up 25%, if I'm not mistaken, of the city's power usage in Seattle. These new 4 proposed massive would have added another 30% electricity consumption
on top of that, right,
for the city. So the moratorium is for us to do some research, have some meetings, take a few lunches.
Yeah, so this is a interesting. I don't know that the moratorium serves anything other than a mayor and a city council trying to let its constituency know that they're hearing their concerns.
Okay,
because the permitting process could have stopped any of these anyway, especially if they're going to oversubscribe the grid. That already happens. But what this did is say, hey, if you're going to be proposing anything, understand that we're going to take a closer look at this. I do hope, actually, that there is a closer look, that this isn't just like kicking the can down the road, but this is actually going to be, I mean, I don't know what they mean when they say study the effect. It seems like we know. But if we don't, and if it is something that we can learn from, like use that year to learn whether or not, because maybe there is some expansion. The funny thing is they're going to expand the existing data centers to a higher level. So that's going to be additional consumption. And they wanted to maybe like, hey, well, why should we give you guys that additional grid space? We want it for ourselves. And that's a legitimate decision for a city to make.
Looking out for the constituents that are using this power.
Totally.
Because those limited access to this power grid is going to mean a rate increase.
Potentially, right. Yeah. So I think all of that makes some sense. Hopefully they actually put a plan in place where they do actually study this and find out, because maybe there is an alternative. Maybe there is something else. Maybe you can get, in the same manner we do, everyone loves to talk about carbon credits. And I think that there are assets to that. I think there are some things about the math that maybe don't quite work out. But nonetheless, if you can get these companies that want to build a data center, all right, fair enough, buy an offset. Give a whole bunch of people, some capacity to use less, or a whole bunch of companies some capacity to use less energy, free up that space, it's yours. Like that sort of thing makes a lot more sense to me than just continually straining existing resources or claiming that, hey, we're only going to run these servers at night when, electricity use is down or those sort of things.
Non-peak hours.
Non-peak hours, whatever. It would be nice to see some sort of smarter plan hatch that they could buy an offset and then open the data centers. But the interesting thing also about data centers is this, and the reason that they're going to be, that the push to put them in cities has accelerated. One, cities have really robust grid systems already in place. They can move. I mean, essentially the grid, our electricity grid is like a superhighway system, right?
Okay.
And it is better maintained here than it is in some other places. Admittedly, infrastructure in the United States has a lot of problems, but in a city like Seattle, in a city like San Francisco or Los Angeles or New York, you have a fairly robust system that can move power around quickly. The issue that they're really talking about here is not just the size of the electricity demand of the servers and the electricity demand of cooling these things and all of the stuff that comes along with it. They're also talking about one other thing. It doesn't seem to be getting mentioned much. Latency. So latency is the time when you put, say, I'm buying something on eBay. It's a time that pings to wherever their server is and back to you and takes your money or doesn't take your money or whatever. That latency is a really important factor when your company is being managed by Azure, Microsoft's cloud, or Amazon's cloud services. That latency matters when you're trying to run a business. And you're just doing one transaction, buying some sports memorabilia on eBay.
Millions.
But when your whole back end of your company, when you're a giant company and the whole back end is being managed, that latency, that ping back and forth, that's why they want data centers near these big companies.
Okay.
They want them there because the latency matters. Weirdly enough, can I take a quick aside?
By all means, no, I'm learning.
So this became this big issue in Wall Street about 15 years ago. They were, and this is something, so if you're wondering why you as a home day trader are always going to be on the pointy end of things, it's because of this is one of the issues. Latency allows eliminating latency allows the big players to trade faster and in front of you. They're ping back and forth, so they can actually react, and their algorithms are reacting to the market much more quickly than you can. They'll see everything that's happening seconds before you will. And that matters. And Wall Street figured out very quickly that if they could, literally this resulted in this massive infrastructure rebuilding of data centers on the eastern seaboard to get that latency down and down and down and down. So these giant companies, they all are running essentially on their own freeway systems so they can trade faster and faster and faster at this exclusive level that is not available to you and I.
So the cities, go ahead.
No. So that's if you think about the money that went into that just to build it for trading, the money that is going into this for AI is extraordinary. It's almost incomprehensible, and that latency thing is one of the reasons why you're seeing it. Everyone thought, server farms in Death Valley will just fill it up.
Yeah, exactly. Put them over in Eastern Washington. Put them out in Death Valley. Put them in Utah. It's got this massive.
And this is the argument, not necessarily against, but the the caveat on Elon Musk's, I think, decent idea to put those servers in outer space where you don't even need to cool them because you're operating,
Right.
keeping
them warm's the problem.
You're operating at thousands of degrees below zero, right? So what is it? So what is the problem there? Well, the latency is a big issue then.
Okay.
That sort of thing is actually not as appealing, and I'm kind of surprised that someone hasn't ever said, like, how do we solve the latency issue? And maybe he has an answer for that. I don't know enough about it.
Is there data center functions that don't need the latency?
Sure.
Maybe delegate to those resources to those.
But if you don't have, I mean, look at us. You and I predate the period of time. Laura doesn't actually, but you and I predate the period of time when microwaves existed. And we found ourselves thinking that a microwave was this miracle. Remember when the first one you saw?
My uncle took us to work
I've never
at
seen anything
Westinghouse,
like this.
and he heated up food in 30 seconds.
And now we're standing in front of the microwave going, come on, like it's not like we're getting what was that. There was that great, who was the comedian who did famous comedian who actually suffered some career setbacks because of doing bad things in front of other women comedians, a famous comedian.
Oh, I know exactly. I can see his face. Got
Very
red
funny.
hair. Yeah.
Anyway, so I
don't want to mislabel and get the wrong comedian.
He had a great bit about your cell phone and how you get angry at how slow your cell phone is. He's like, it's going to a satellite and back to you in like 2 seconds and you're angry. Like, this is the problem. Like, that latency thing is not just sort of functional issue. If you do not provide it, you are not going to get the same number of customers, even if those customers don't actually need that level of speed.
Right.
Unless they're so the problem is going to be, and yes, there certainly are computer functions that can be remanded to something that's much slower.
Right.
And maybe that is what's happening right now. I don't know enough about it to say. But I would say that if you are offering the shiniest, best, fastest, you're going to win that. You're going to win that in virtually every category of commerce.
Does it hurt the city to have this year moratorium? Is this business, these data centers, are they going to go elsewhere with their business? People have complaining about the moratorium, or at least arguing against it, saying, look, this is a city with budgetary concerns, a county, a state with budgetary concerns. Here's an opportunity to bring in big money from these big data center builders or the companies that want to build them here. Are we or is it evolving so quickly in AI and data centers that maybe a year from now we can get just as much bang for a few less bucks?
So there is a whole bunch of, this is just me, spitballing here, but there's a whole bunch of variables here, right? There's a reason that companies locate. It's sort of the idea behind the way the markets used to, the souks used to work in Asia, 1,000 years ago. There was a reason that all the carpet sellers were together, and the metal goods were together, and the spices were together, because they found that over time that if you could, everyone did better. If you actually concentrated, you'd think it would be competition, but it actually works just the reverse. It actually makes a dense area where a bunch of people are interested in something or have a capacity to sell something or do something. And this is why tech companies locate them, because they're stealing each other's talent. They know that they can build this ecosystem of labor and of technology and of expertise and things like that. And they love to locate around universities as well. And so what happens in this sort of case is, can Oklahoma City, for it, let's use that. Oklahoma City, does it have more capacity on its grid? Except probably in August, more capacity on its grid to allow a Microsoft to get that additional, data center built and provide it with the power that it needs. Okay. That probably, maybe, let's just say those mid-major cities, let's just say, yes, they have that extra capacity, just for argument's sake. The problem for them, the Microsoft still is, how do we relocate our people there, and how do we continually recruit talent when we're the only thing in town? And so these companies that are using that, they're caught, betwixt and between. They want to be in an area dense with talent where they can all steal from each other, and they also want to get this additional data center capacity. And I'm not sure both of those things are available in the same place anywhere in the United States very readily, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. No,
so you're asking a very good question, because can Des Moines, Iowa, is that going to become suddenly attractive when it's data? Because if you want to be close to your data center and you want a place where you can build a data center, is Des Moines, Iowa going to be one of those places that got its giant grid, not a whole lot of people, hasn't had that ridiculous growth that a place like Seattle has? And remember, our ridiculous growth has been not we're eliminating natural gas. Like, we're going to depend more on electricity just for regular stuff, much less data centers.
We're taking gas off the grid. We're going all hydroelectric.
So it's going to get interesting. Like, this tension is going to remap, I think, a lot of the country.
One of the groups protesting, speaking out against data centers, and they were all for the moratorium. They have a People's AI Bill of Rights proposed. Did you see this?
Yeah, I did.
And they have 4 pillars, the 4 basic tenets of this People's Bill of Rights. And they ask for, and I'm not going to read all of them, it's fairness. AI must benefit all Americans, not just billionaires. Privacy. We must be able to live our lives without every action being watched and monetized. Surveillance powered by face recognition, biometrics, yada, yada. Transparency. Right, that we must know the true price that our communities are paying for AI and data centers, and then accountability. We must be confident that harms inflicted upon the community will have consequences. I mean, you spoke earlier about with regard to using federal dollars and these big corporations always being able to buy what they need from the government with way of lobbyists and donations.
Yeah.
And the AI players in access to the government, this is where we need this transparency, this accountability, this fairness to the people, especially when the government's using its resources and its contract opportunities with these big corporations to make sure that it's in the best interest of everybody that uses every resource we have in our cities, counties, and states.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's lovely, But
we're
asking the same companies that have been unwilling to provide any of this data. The same companies that will not let anyone jailbreak their algorithms that feed all kinds of garbage. Including AI generated stuff on social media. We're asking these same folks to do something they've refused to do over the course of the last 20 years in technology's growth. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Everything they're saying, like transparency, I am for all of that.
Yeah.
For a country that isn't weighted toward billionaires, that'd be nice too. But we're not there now. We're not even close to being there now. And I don't know that this has. I don't know that this actually I hope that I don't want to be so cynical. I'm more skeptical than cynical. Let me put it that way. I think this is great. I don't disagree with a word in it. I don't think it's realistic.
Under this current iteration of our government, are we so far gone that we can never have a government that really is?
No, I don't think we're so far gone, but I don't think that. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I hear people complain about AI all the time while using AI. This is how many show hosts every single day use AI to sort of like get a little deeper knowledge on the many issues. You can't be an expert on all of them.
I'm doing it all the time. Everybody here is. Yeah.
So do you want that tool taken? Are you willing to sort of on your own? Hey, wait a minute. I don't want to engage in this system. I don't want to use up the resources. I don't want to do that on my own. I am going to stop doing all of this. Well, I don't think you're going to, and I don't think I'm going to.
I don't think you need to stop it. But with regard to your point about we use it every single day. We use vehicles every single day, but there are federal regulations on what we can and cannot do with vehicles and who can and cannot have access. Same thing with firearms. Firearms are just a tool. And you got to have regulations on these tools to make sure they're used safely and for the best interest.
But we've shown with an unwillingness to really regulate on firearms, and
but there are some. Kids can't buy them.
Yeah,
I can't have an Uzi at home. I can't have a tank. There are some regulations. Can't we put some type of governance and regulations and guardrails against these AI companies?
These things are moving. It's moving. The government has moved so slowly. Government moved so slowly on social media that it was miles out in front of where government was talking about. Like when government recognized that
that's the best example.
Yeah, we're having problems with social media. Social media companies had moved way beyond where the government would like to target because they had moved past that.
Well, we got 80-year-olds in government talking about technology. They need a 12-year-old to explain to them.
Yeah, the tubes.
That's obviously obviously why we have the problem.
Yeah, I mean, no, I'm not trying to sound. I'm generally not a cynical guy. I'm a skeptical guy. I think that these guardrails would be great, but who is going to approve them and who is going to enforce them? And I'm curious about that. I mean, I would like to see. These are all very good notions.
Yeah,
I'm right there, 100%. But I haven't seen us for simpler things. For simpler, knowable things.
Well, let's say, for example, the mental health, well-being of our children.
When we know what's going on, and we have still declined to put any of these guardrails up, when we've not actually said, like, what would be a simple thing? One simple regulation. How about if we could just turn off the algorithm that feeds us what it feeds us on YouTube and on TikTok and on Instagram. If we could just turn it off and just have it randomized as it was when we all started. You remember those days.
I do.
You found what you looked up.
Right.
That was it. It didn't make this profile of you and then feed you stuff. So why not that? Like, just allow us to turn it off. You know why? Because it makes it much less lucrative, because it's not as easy to monetize if that happens. It becomes randomized at that point. They don't know as much about us. One little thing, just a little switch where you could turn it off. Can't get through Congress. You think this is getting through?
No, you're right.
I mean,
no, I'm skeptical. And I'm bordering on cynical. I can smell it from here.
I would, and this is not to say I don't agree, because I agree with you.
No,
I
hear you, but
100%.
But there's a practicality. It's not doable in this scenario.
We haven't shown a capacity to do it.
Are the litigation against social media platforms that are taking place in California and 100 other jurisdictions across the country, where these social media networks and companies are being held accountable for the consequences of their business practices? Is that the crack in the armor?
Section 230. Yeah, this is very, it's a shame, because we depend so much now on courts. And I'm not talking about just liberals. I'm talking about liberals and conservatives depend so much now on the court system to do our legislation for us.
Right.
Like, this is where we're at now. Like, it's like, because no other tool seems willing to engage in the process. Right.
The other two branches of the government have seemed to acquiesce their powers.
They've abdicated.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in this particular case, am I hopeful that those? 100%. I'm hopeful that they at least allow us a chance to crack it open and fix it, or fix a little bit of it. I'll take a little bit.
Take one step in the right direction.
Absolutely.
Back on course. All right. Thank you, Mike. Beautifully done. When we come back, we're going to talk about a local iconic institution that has been saved by the bell, if you will. It's the Jake and Spike Show with Mike Loswell. When we come back.
This hour is brought to you by Insulation Northwest.
KIRO News Radio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards. Breaking news coverage, best newscast, excellence in writing, investigative reporting, sports reporting, hard news. Capped with a prestigious prize for overall excellence. And we thank you, our audience across the Pacific Northwest. You are the reason we strive to be the Northwest's trusted news source. KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM.
This is the story of the one who keeps multiple buildings running smoothly day after day. Plumbing that flows, HVAC that hums, cleaning supplies that keep surfaces sparkling. That's why she counts on Grainger. With easy reordering online and 24/7 support, Grainger helps her keep the products she needs on hand. So shelves stay stocked and buildings stay ready. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Pump up the volume.
Business moves fast. Orders roll in, deadlines close in. When you ship with USPS Ground Advantage, you can keep up with confidence. Every package stays in our secure network from dock to door. And with nationwide reach, dependable tracking, and upfront affordable pricing, you get built-in peace of mind. You run the business. We run the routes. Visit USPS.com/Ground Advantage to learn more.
Your medication for enlarged prostate is working. That's what you tell yourself. You're up 3 times a night instead of 5. The urgency is manageable. The stream's not great, but it's fine. That's the problem. Fine. Enlarged prostate, or BPH, doesn't pause because the medication takes the edge off. The prostate keeps growing. The bladder keeps working harder. And over time, those changes can be harder to reverse. But surgery? Not for you, right? Aquablation is not the surgery you're picturing. It's the only ultrasound-guided, robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Don't wait until things become unbearable. Find an Aquablation urologist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466. 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks, and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
You're losing your hair and you simply need a solution that works. You want the best. Modern technology, top-rated physicians, something that's guaranteed to work. Guys, you need world-class Dr. Perungo and his team at Advanced Hair. Advanced Hair has completely redefined hair restoration. From the experience itself to their unmatched results. Receding hairline, bald spot, thinning hair, maybe all 3 like
I had. Get your hair back with Advanced Hair's simple one-day treatment that begins to regrow your own natural hair the very next day. Advanced Hair has changed tens of thousands of lives, including mine. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. For your free consultation, call 425-449-8185. Right now, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Refine your hairline with the team that redefined hair restoration. That's 425-449-8185. Or for the before and afters, visit advancedhair.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
If your idea of a perfect weekend includes a trailhead, a ferry ride, or a last-minute escape to the mountains, say hello to the Subaru Crosstrek. Carter Subaru is Seattle's only Subaru dealership with over 800 Subarus in stock. And right now, get the 2026 Crosstrek with 1.9% financing for 36 months on approved credit. Carter Subaru in Ballard, Shoreline, or online at cartersubaru.com.
On approved credit, subject to vehicle insurance and availability. A documentary service fee may be added to the sale price or capitalized cost. See dealer for details. Valid through 6/30/26.
Lumen Field on Seahawks game days is your key to unlocking premium hospitality, views, and experiences. Host a memorable event in your own private game day suite. Or see an up-close, unique perspective from sideline and end zone field seats. To learn more about all the ways you can elevate your Seahawks game day at Lumen Field, visit Seahawks.com/premium.
G. Scott here. Safeway wants you to know SunBucks gives qualifying families $120 per child for summer groceries. Some families are signed up automatically. Others need to apply. Find out if you should apply at freesummermeals.org.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo with renewed hopes for an end to the Iran war. President Trump says a peace deal is imminent.
The strait will officially open as soon as we sign, which could be soon, very soon. Maybe over the weekend.
More from ABC's Stephen Portnoy.
Earlier today, the president said in a social media post that he had canceled what he called the scheduled strikes and bombings against Iran for this evening. He said that discussion and final points have been in both concept and great detail, approved by all parties involved. He went on to name other countries in the region, but not Iran.
President also said the deal could be signed in Europe. No official comment yet from Iran. To the closing bell reports as investors went on a buying spree today as soon as the president called off those attacks. At the close, the Dow gained 930 points, climbing to 50,848. NASDAQ jumped nearly 2.5%. S&P 500 gained 127 points. Well, it is just what economists were not hoping for. Initial claims for state unemployment benefits unexpectedly rose last week. Here's ABC's Jim Ryan.
Analysts were anticipating a decline of about 5,000 in the number of first-time jobless applications. Instead, the figure went from 225,000 filings 2 weeks ago to 229,000 last week. Jobless claims are seen as an indicator of layoff activity. They're approaching their high for the year.
New numbers from Redfin show the U.S. housing market hitting a milestone with the typical home price across the country topping $400,000 for the first time. Here in Seattle, there are signs of a slowdown. Pending home sales are down 12% from a year ago. Prices are actually slipping slightly off about 1%. Now to the real-time traffic desk at 1:33. Here's Nate Connors.
Thanks, Aaron. Your Seattle Mariners have the update. We just cleared a collision like 2 minutes ago, eastbound 90 inside the Mount Baker Tunnel. So we're still dealing with these hefty backups stretching onto I-5, bumper to bumper, in fact. In the North 5, you're heavy from the Michigan Curve in the downtown. South 5, heavy from Northgate to I-90. Out in Silverdale, we've got a collision on State Route 3 southbound at Newberry Hill Road, and it has shut down your southbound lanes. This involves a dump truck that is on its side, spilled its load, so we're going to be closed for a while. No estimated time to reopen. South Center North 405 is crowded from really approaching the Valley Freeway now up through the Renton S curves. South 405 slows from Southeast 8th and Bellevue down to Northeast 44th near the VMAC. Bellevue to Renton at 25 minutes. Don't miss fireworks nights all summer long, presented by T-Mobile. The next show is June 19th. Get your tickets at mariners.com/fireworks. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Got fair skies today with sunshine continuing through the weekend and hot weather on the way. Today, highs in the low 70s. Right now, 68 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the Jake and Spike Show. I'm Spike O'Neill. Sitting with Mike Lewis today. I want to thank the texter from the 425 on the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line. Louis C.K. was the comedian we were trying
Thank
to
you.
The vast unpaid research department that is this audience, we thank you every single day for getting it right for us. If you have something you'd like to share with the show, again, 1-800-973-5476, the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line. A local concert venue, local bar, local comedy venue, local movie theater in the basement. I didn't even realize this was down there until last year. I'm talking about the Crocodile Cafe, an iconic Seattle music venue, was saved from the scrap heap this week when it was announced that the venue has, which had entered into receivership about 6 months ago, has a new buyer and a newfound lease on life. The former Crocodile was a couple blocks away.
Yeah,
there was a second in Virginia, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
and one of the last few live performance iconic venues in Seattle.
Right,
we've lost just about every other place out there, whether it's the Off Ramp or the Rock Candy or the Vogue, going way back when. Pioneer Square has lost musical venues. Seattle's rich live music tradition goes back much longer than my life here in Seattle, in generations. I mean, you can go all the way back to Ray Charles,
absolutely,
starting in Seattle in various venues. The Moore Theater's upper deck, the upper concourse of the Moore Theater. You probably know this. You're in the business. Used to be the Coloreds section.
Oh, I didn't know that.
There's a private door. If you ever go to the Moore Theater, look to the right as you enter. There's a doorway that's no longer used because through that doorway ran a single staircase
up to the top,
right up to the top concourse where African Americans were allowed to view venues in the segregated history of our city. Well, the Crocodile, where so many bands play, the amount of shows that we've seen at the Crocodile, they're threatening to go away because it's tough for any business to stay in business these days.
Right, especially after moving from your old location and doing an expensive remodeling, and then you got to kind of make money right away because that is most of the time that's financed. It's not based on having deep pockets.
Exactly right.
And so you got to be able to pay a bunch of money every day just to get to zero, much less to get into profit.
And you're talking about moving to a bigger venue. The current Crocodile's location used to be El Gaucho, the restaurant.
Right, which also moved.
Moved. But there are 3 stories to that building. The street front level on first, if I'm not mistaken, the new Croc. 1 floor below that was a comedy club that they had open for a while, which has recently closed because they couldn't get the business to keep it afloat. Yeah. Below that is a private bar and a movie theater, a small movie theater.
That I didn't know. I've not been in that.
I found out maybe a year and a half ago.
Right.
I went to a family function at that my daughter's pre-wedding party.
Oh, was that the place that used to be the big? What was it? There was a small, sort of luxury lounge, little movie theater.
That's it.
It had a different name maybe 10 years ago.
It probably wasn't associated with El Gaucho at the time.
Yeah.
But that building, the Crocodile.
Yeah, because you would enter right next to El Gaucho. Of course, I remember that venue. That's actually kind of a great venue.
It's a great little venue, but the problem is the Crocodile found themselves $1.6 million in debt after their move and renovations and the struggling economy that we've all gone through in the last 5-6 years. It's all post-COVID fallout. Well, one of the investors in the move and expansion of El Gaucho, to the city's good luck, was Susan Silver.
Yeah.
Susan Silver, of course, was a manager, I believe, if I got the iteration correctly, of both Soundgarden and Alice in Chains when they were just club bands in Seattle, and then through their rise to superstardom. And Susan Silver has always been an advocate for and fan of and champion of local art, local venues. And as an investor in El Gaucho, Susan Silver was the conduit to the new ownership group that just bought El Gaucho. A guy named Jimmy Miller.
Just bought the Crocodile.
I'm sorry, the Crocodile, thank you. Jimmy Miller is a talent manager, along with Mike McAvoy, former CEO of The Onion. Their group is Comedy Tent Umbrella Company, it's called. They own the Upright Citizens Brigade with theaters in L.A. and New York. They own a venue in Pittsburgh that's a comedy music hall, a Bottle Rocket Social Club. From the story I've heard, and it was a Times piece that I reread it and it reminded me of it. In 1996, Jim Carrey was the host of Saturday Night Live.
Right.
And he is a fan of Soundgarden. I believe he inducted Soundgarden into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So Jim Carrey wanted Soundgarden on Saturday Night Live. So Jimmy Miller reached out and met Susan Silver and got Soundgarden on Saturday Night Live. And they've stayed friends. So when the Crocodile found themselves in dire straits, Susan Silver reached out to Jimmy Miller and explained the club's predicament and what it needed. And his company stepped in to take this out of receivership.
And the nice thing about getting out of receivership means that you're essentially buying the debt. And I mean, and some others on top of that. But
receivership's it's the last stop before bankruptcy, right?
Yeah.
Can we find somebody to take over?
And it allows you to not have a bankruptcy on your credit, on your background.
And your investors to get pennies on the dollar.
Absolutely, yeah. All of it.
So this is just great. This is such great news for Seattle because we've talked about the history of Seattle music going back from Ray Charles to Jimi Hendrix to Hart to grunge.
Right.
This city had these music venues that drew in acts from around the country and gave the local acts a place to practice their wares and build their audience and find their message and deliver the art that changed this city's place in history.
Well, and the weird thing that happened, I mean, as an aside, because I know it's expensive to do business in Seattle, but this was actually sort of a theory propagated by John Keister, formerly of Almost Live.
Yeah.
When I interviewed him years ago, and he had a really interesting point that I've not been able to prove, but it sounds plausible.
Okay.
When he said when the SST layoff happened in Seattle in the 1970s, the Boeing layoff, for the SST project, the Supersonic Transport project, it was something like in 1 year 30,000 jobs lost. And areas of Seattle cleared out. The famous billboard, last person Seattle
turns lights out.
Lights out. So what happened was people were walking away from their mortgages, not unlike what happened in Detroit not that long ago. And so, but he said, setting that aside, he said, you want to know why? This happened in the middle 1970s. He said, you want to know why this matters? He said, here's why. Because that made it incredibly cheap for your buddy to open a record store because there's so much empty property. You and 3 friends could get a house in Wallingford, for nothing a month. All of that stuff happened. He said the arts communities thrive when a town gets cheap. And he was not advocating for recessions, and he understood that a lot of people went through great pain as a result of the layoffs. But he said it set the table for the music scene in the late 70s, 80s, and 90s was set by the fact that the city got very, very cheap. And so music, and that's why we also had so many music venues, because you could get a warehouse for nothing.
Yeah.
And this is what has also affected arts in Seattle. Like all of that tech money, you would think all of that money coming in and people willing to go out to music and spending all that money, there is a benefit there. And so the show boxes of the world, the Paramounts of the world that are getting larger acts are doing okay by that extra money in town. But the smaller places, the Crocodiles of the world,
the incubators,
the little ones where people go before they're widely known, those are practice spaces gone, much less the venues and because it's expensive now. And like the years ago in the San Francisco, like why the San Francisco Bay Guardian did this great story. Why are all the greatest San Francisco bands coming from Stockton? And Stockton is a city in the Central Valley not far from San Francisco. And the reason was they couldn't afford to live in San Francisco.
That's where they could afford to live and practice.
And we're kind of dealing with that right now. I mean, with local acts that have not made it big, it's tough in Seattle. And it's nice to see a place that is willing to extend a hand to the smaller acts, a place like the Crocodile. It's nice to see someone step in and hopefully not only save it short term, but build a structure that allows it to thrive.
Well, they've got the resources. They've got the blueprint. They're going to use staffing. And
they have other existing clubs. So they're going
to bring in all the employees are going to stay at the Crocodile. The Crocodile. They're going to bring in folks from their Bottle Rocket Social Hall in Pittsburgh to show them what they're doing wrong, what they can do right, to support them and make sure this survives. You know, my kid just graduated from art school, from Cornish College of the Arts. And one of the commencement speakers spoke to the importance of art and the artist community in this juncture of our nation's journey. How important it was to, as you see marginalized communities and artists in general being defunded, being co-opted, being censored, being canceled.
Right.
For art to still have a place inside. It is really the soul of our nation, is the art of our nation.
Well, and the thing is, if you're going to pursue that as a career, just to put it in very practical terms, is you're going to...
You need a place to play.
You're going to be dealing with this in your family. Like, it's you don't make any money doing, or very little money doing this. If you're 1/10 of 1%, maybe you make some money at this, but most people don't. And so having a cheap town actually gives you the freedom to pursue this thing.
Right.
Seattle isn't a cheap place anymore. And so
that's why I got a house with a basement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why you have a house
Tell
with a
my
basement.
kid I ain't moving for at least. So you make Broadway, I ain't moving.
Exactly.
So keep playing.
Exactly.
Great job, Mike. All right, when we come back, folks, it's the Jake and Spike Show with Mike Lewis filling in for Jake Skorheim. As I scroll through Laura provided me the paper scroll over our schedule. Pardon me, but thanks for sticking with me. Oh, we mentioned what's that event coming to town? World Cup. The ferry system's involved, not just to get you to the game, but to help you party along the way. We'll tell you about the ferry summer ferry tour from C895 coming up next.
KIRO Newsradio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards, including overall excellence and investigative reporting.
Just 29 hours later, Joshua Headley sent an unsolicited email to me writing, "I understand there may be a news story coming out."
Thank you who listen, stream, and watch every day. The driving force that pushes us to be the Northwest trusted news source. KIRO Newsradio. 97.3 FM.
Hey, Spike O'Neill for Ageless Living. Recently, my aunt had surgery, and she did fine. She was home the next day. But sometimes you need some help recovering, and we didn't know as a family if we were equipped, knew what to do to give her the kind of care she needed. So we called my friends at Ageless Living and asked about respite care. It's a short-term stay at Ageless Living facilities. It's a 2-day, 2-week, whatever the stay that best suits your family's needs. You get 24/7 expert care, all the amenities of Ageless Living, and some peace of mind for us, the family. Go to agelessliving.com/spike and schedule a visit and ask about respite care. That's agelessliving.com/spike.
Not all heroes wear capes. Some carry groceries, prepare meals, or simply hold a hand. Caregivers are the everyday heroes who keep our communities strong. Right now, Washington needs more of these heroes. People like you, ready to make a difference in someone's life. Caregiver Careers Washington offers online resources and guidance to help you get trained and start your caregiving career. Become a hero not just to the person you care for, but to their family and their community. Visit caregivercareerswa.com today.
Sponsored by DSHS and aired by the WSAB and this station.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Smooth accelerators. When that light turns green, you're off. Like a warm knife through firm butter. Going from 0 to the speed limit in an appropriate amount of time. Sure, your car has horsepower, but your horses prance around as silky smooth as your right foot. Fancy Prancerton. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor. You visit urgent care over and over again. And it's always the same thing, right? Oh, I know. Let's try antibiotics and some nasal sprays. But they just keep coming back. You may suffer with chronic sinus infections. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure called the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic. Imagine a procedure so delicate there are no narcotics. Less cutting means less bleeding, so no packing, and no operating room. The Sinusoft procedure procedure is designed for the clinic. If you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, and congestion, find out if the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic, is the solution for you. Call and set an appointment today. 206-388-2770. 206-388-2770. That's 206-388-2770.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation is super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, add one line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
Giving your liver a spring cleaning is easy with Active Liver. From New Nordic. Search for Active Liver by New Nordic on Amazon, CVS, Wegmans, or GNC.
How does your roof look after this winter? Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Spring into action today. Save $3,000 on a new roof, siding, deck, or windows. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com.
Guys, want long-term health you can count on? It starts with knowing your numbers. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value, including testosterone, blood sugar, heart health, and more. Take control of your health today and stay strong for the long haul. Offer ends June 30th. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com today.
Back to the Jake and Spike Show. Laura corrected me during the break, and I apologize. I mentioned that the C895 Summer Ferry Tour is getting underway soon. We'll tell you about that. But it's to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the Seattle Ferry, or the Washington Ferry System.
Yeah, although
it's not a World Cup celebration.
I don't think it's a coincidence that they waited until June to start running these disco dance parties on the ferry decks.
No kidding. I agree.
C895 is the Nathan Hale High School radio station. And they are a sponsor. They're at least working with the Washington Ferry System to give you the C895 Summer Ferry Tour 2026. And like Laura said, there's going to be a disc jockey. Oh my God, I'm old. A DJ,
it's called a DJ now.
A DJ on board. They'll be taking your calls. The ninth caller. The boat will sail numerous runs around the Puget Sound for the next couple of weeks. It's going to be this Friday. No, last Friday. Started last Friday, June 5th. With the Seattle Bainbridge run. This weekend, the 12th, it's going to be the Fauntleroy Vashon Southworth Ferry with Johnny Monsoon spinning the wax. God, I'm old, Mike. I'm old.
No, this is like vintage radio history.
Vintage radio history, yeah. It's a wonderful thing for the Washington State Ferry System to be celebrating its 75th anniversary, and they're getting in the party spirit.
You know, I've been unabashed in my enthusiasm for the ferries. I'm sometimes not enthusiastic about the performance of the ferries, but I am enthusiastic. I love the ferry system. I got here in June of 2000, almost exactly Yeah, I guess 2 weeks ago, exactly 26 years.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. And one of the things, I always feel like it's a treat. Every time I'm on the ferries, I dig it. I like it. I walk on, I cycle on, I ride my motorcycle on. I try and take my vehicle on my truck on as little as possible. But I've always thought, and I don't know that they do this or not. So if you're listening, Washington State Ferry System employees, text in 1-888-973-5476. I've always thought that because I made it a point when I first moved up here to ride every single ferry route in the state because I just wanted to. I just liked the ferries enough, and I thought I could. Well, and I was a reporter, so I was traveling around the state anyway. But I always made it a point to add, and I picked all of them off. But I always thought they should do the same thing that you can do in Ballard with breweries. They should have a ferry passport where you can actually get stamped for every single route because there's 11 routes in the state that the state runs, 11 ferry systems with multiple routes.
Okay.
But you have to do all of them. And there's also the one that I never got, and because they canceled it for a while, but I hear it's back, it's the one across Lake Roosevelt. I'm looking it up now. It is the Keller Ferry. So that's a weird free one that goes across Lake Roosevelt in the eastern part of the state because where Grand Coulee Dam.
I've been there. I've done that ferry.
So I have not done. That's the only
one in the
state. It goes
to the Colfax Indian Reservation all the way up to Republic.
I have not. That's the one ferry in the state that I have not yet ridden. So I'm going to have to get out there at some point.
This is a genius idea.
I mean, why not? So folks, you got it from me. Do something like that because I think that. I don't know. There's a lot of people like me who are enthusiastic. I love the ferry system. I mean, when I can get on the ferry, I ride my bicycle on there. Let's say I do a bicycle ride on Bainbridge Island or on the out in Bremerton or something like that. Having that beer on the ferry is my favorite beer in Washington State. It doesn't matter. It's just the scenery. It's beautiful every single time.
It is the most beautiful
rain
ride
or shine.
in America, you bet.
I love it. And so I would absolutely go out of my way to make sure I completed every line. And if you get maybe a bonus free ride if you complete all 10 in a year or whatever it is.
You think would they sell
Washington State Ferry System? Listen to me.
A one price passport that gets you access to all 11 routes, one free trip on each of those 11 routes, 11 systems.
All of that's even a better idea. That's stepping my idea up to an actual
maybe walk on level. Only, right? Yeah. Walk on only.
Yeah, or by walk or cycle.
Okay, so of course it doesn't get your car on.
No
for that
car on, right?
One race. That's a great idea. Collect stamps. Take the family. Every time, right?
All right. I don't want to extend my enthusiasm for people who just be incredibly bored by all of this.
No. I mean, anytime somebody comes to town to visit our area
we all tell them to do the same thing. Take the ferry out to Bainbridge Island, have lunch out there, take the ferry back, and everyone does it, and they like it.
They love it. It's no place like it on earth. It's the largest commercial ferry system in the continental
Where else
US.
can you see a pod of orcas? Not all the time, but sometimes on mass transit. Nowhere.
Well, unless there's massive flooding. And you mentioned earlier, if you're going to a World Cup game, stay on the islands, take a ferry into town. That's the best deal. I can't believe no one's mentioned that to me before. It's a genius idea. It's the Jake and Spike Show. Mike Lewis filling in beautifully, by the way. When we come back, there's a story that just boggles my mind. A Waymo. You know what a Waymo is, right? Those driverless vehicles. Somebody used Waymo to commit a crime.
They're testing them here in Seattle right now.
They're testing them in Seattle. I see them moving up and down I-5. Somebody took a Waymo to commit a crime. 27 cameras on the car. No evidence to the police. How is that possible? Right back after these.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Big Trees is Washington's premier tree sales and transplant company. Looking for a big selection of big trees? Visit Big Trees in Snohomish or BigTreeSupply.com.
Beauty, privacy, instantly. Big trees.
Healthcare costs are rising, and a major driver is hospital prices. They've increased more than 250% over the past 25 years. Families and local businesses are feeling it. At Primera Blue Cross, we're working to change that by negotiating with hospitals to secure fair, responsible prices so you can get the care you need at a cost you can afford. That's coverage that counts. Learn more at coveragethatcounts.primera.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-8157. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-8157. That's 800-575-8157. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
If you're a homeowner looking to replace your comfort system, there's only one call you need to make. That's to Home Comfort Alliance, especially right now. As a Carrier Factory authorized dealer, they meet the highest standards for training, installation, and customer satisfaction. John Curley here. Efficiency, reliability, and quiet performance matter. Right now, when you upgrade to a Carrier cooling system, you get a heating system free. And they make it so easy with a 60-second price estimator. Visit HomeComfortAlliance.com now. That's HomeComfortAlliance.com.
Mariners baseball is in full swing, and it's not too late to come on board as a season ticket member. With a Flex plan, you can choose your games and seats as you go. Plus, lock in guaranteed postseason access and no ticket fees. Join today at mariners.com/flex.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. After weeks of stalled talks between the U.S. and Iran, President Trump once again announcing a deal is close. Here's ABC's Stephen Portnoy.
Earlier today, the president said in a social media post that he had canceled what he called the scheduled strikes and bombings against Iran for this evening. He said that discussion and final points have been in both concept and great detail, approved by all parties involved. He went on to name other countries in the region, but not Iran.
A source with knowledge of the negotiations tells ABC News the deal is very close as mediators have hit some breakthroughs. Separate efforts in the House and Senate failing today to pass short-term extensions of FISA authorizations ahead of tomorrow's deadline. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced the U.S. will sanction Cuba's state-owned gas and oil company, alleging that Cuba's government is using it as a tool of repression and self-serving the regime. And stocks soaring and oil prices fell today on word the U.S. and Iran may close in on a deal. This is ABC News. In Texas, near the Mexican border, the driver of an 18-wheeler involved in a pursuit near the border is in custody and now facing charges of human trafficking. That incident ending in a dramatic rescue.
At the checkpoint near Falfurrias, Texas, Border Patrol agents ordered a secondary inspection of a tractor-trailer rig after a canine indicated something suspicious, but the driver sped away. Officers deployed spikes, flattening the truck's tires, but it kept going and, running on its rims, caught fire before stopping.
Hey, let's get some fire extinguishers!
Body-worn cameras captured state troopers' desperate attempts to open the trailer.
Get him out, get him out, get him out!
39 people, thought to be undocumented immigrants, were rescued from the burning trailer while the driver was arrested. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
Vance Bolter, the man charged in the attacks against Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota last June, changed his plea to guilty today in his federal case. He still faces state charges in the killings. Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
Coming up, new action to address the crime along Aurora Avenue. That's after Nate Connors at the traffic desk.
This one's brought to you by Seattle Sports. We have a full closure out in Silverdale, southbound 3 and Newberry Hill Road. Your southbound lanes are closed from a dump truck that's on its its side and spilled its load, so it's going to be a while before they can clean this up and upright the truck. No estimated time to reopen yet, and you're backed up to Trigger Avenue. North 5 in Seattle, we're packed at the Michigan Curve in the downtown, 20 minutes from South Center to Seattle. South 5, bumper to bumper at 85th to the Convention Center. About a 10-minute delay from Linwood in the downtown, taking a half hour to make that trip. North 405 in the South End is crowded from I-5 and South Center through the Renton S-curves. South Center to Bellevue's at 25 minutes. South 405 slows from 520 now all the way to 30th and Renton. Just under a half hour from Bellevue to Renton. And Tacoma to Olympia is at 45 minutes. Already a 3-mile thick backup through JBLM. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial, 97.3 HD2. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio, 97.3 FM, Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. Seattle leaders are stepping up enforcement along Aurora Avenue, targeting a surge in shootings and human trafficking. City today announced that it's closing several side streets and installing barriers to limit vehicle traffic linked to crime. Police Chief Sean Barnes says his department is stepping up patrols, including undercover operations.
We will not let this community be exploited as a place of business for criminals.
City Attorney's Office also says prosecutors are moving to shut down businesses tied to repeated criminal activity. Autopsies now confirm victims of the paper mill implosion in Longview died due to alkaline chemical burns. The Cowlitz County Coroner's Office released the autopsy report today. It includes 10 of the 11 victims who were recovered from the blast sites. The final victim died at the hospital. Victims' ages range from 26 to 58 years old. Meantime, the cleanup efforts continue, as we hear from KIRO 7 TV's Elle Thomas.
The Department of Ecology says decontamination where the toxic liquid spilled is only 23% complete. In the community, warning signs are being removed from dikes and drainage ditches because they say the pH levels are now safe. But right now, they're still asking people to avoid fishing or swimming in those areas.
FEMA has approved more than $10 million in disaster aid for Washington residents affected by last December's flooding. Agency says it helped more than 1,100 homeowners and renters recover from recent damage. More than 2,500 people applied before yesterday's deadline. FEMA says it is still processing some of those claims. And thousands of cheering World Cup fans could generate seismic activity in Seattle. Douglas Gibbons with the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network says they have 7 sensors measuring how much structural shaking takes place at Lumen Field.
As the data is being recorded on site, it's being transmitted to the Pacific Northwest Seismic Network in just a fraction of a second.
Lab will also stream seismic data and highlights throughout the World Cup. To your forecast now, we are seeing lots of sunshine today and tomorrow and through the weekend as temperatures really start to warm up. Could see some record highs on Sunday and again on Monday. Right now, 68 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
And now, it's time for the Jake and Spike Show on KIRO News Radio. With your hosts, Jake Skorheim and Spike O'Neill.
Welcome back to the show. I'm Spike O'Neill with Mike Lewis today in for Jake Skorheim. But more important today with us is Laura Scott, our producer. I say that because not only have I been corrected on numerous occasions today, so I say it's pronounced Waymo. Waymo, not Waymo, like I've been saying for the last 7 years. Waymo. These are the driverless vehicles that are learning to drive amongst us, already in play in many markets, coming to Seattle, practicing their runs here in Seattle. We'll tell you about the Waymo Escape. Someone rented a Waymo and the commission of a crime used it as their escape vehicle. We'll bring you that details in just a second. But there's been a busy day in the Oval Office. President Trump has announced the pending deal with Iran to end the war in Iran. We'll have details as they come in. We've heard about it in the national and local newscasts as well. News of the pending deal. This is the 14th time we've had a pending deal with the Iranians on this war. Stock market's loving it. Oil prices are down. Everybody's making money. Everybody had information 2 hours ago about this deal that's making real money, but that's a whole other topic. The insider trading in this administration is just off the charts. One other thing the president announced today was a lifting of restrictions on commercial fishing in protected areas of the Pacific Ocean. Now, I know we have a massive fishing industry up here in the Northwest, of course, seafood industry. The president lifted restrictions in place by the Biden administration on commercial fishing in, I think, 3 Pacific Island it's a prolific Pacific Marine National Monuments, they call these places. It's one off the coast of Hawaii, one on the Atoll Island Marine, I think it is, and the Mariana Trench National Monument east of the Philippines. Now, what this is intended to do, according to the president, is lower seafood prices. That was the big win for America today at the Oval Office, executive order signing to lift these restrictions on these protected national monuments. Now, these national monuments are protected for a number of reasons. I did a little looking into this once the announcement was made today. These particular 3 national monument designated areas, protected areas, were because they felt that protecting these areas was a great tool and a necessary tool for helping restore oceanic ecosystems.
Right.
And to study the impact of the environment on oceanic ecosystems and the benefits they provide to the world, humanity.
Yeah, exactly.
And the president wants to lift these 3 restrictions to lower seafood prices.
Yeah, I mean, it's consistent, at least with the administration. It wants to remove restrictions on, all kinds of, from national monuments, remove the designation of national monuments.
The barriers to progress and
open up certain areas for
drilling and killing.
I just found out yesterday, and I didn't know this, that Yellowstone, there's sections of Yellowstone National Park where you can have snowmobiles, and I didn't that didn't used to be the case. It's interesting. They see so from a U.S. government structure, right? We have an Interior Department and a Department of Agriculture. And here's the thing. Like in Washington State, if you were to head into the Cascades, you can find both national parks. That's the Interior Department. Mm-hmm. And you can find national forests. That is the Agriculture Department.
Okay.
And the acknowledgement, they're run very, very differently. The national parks are supposed to be areas that we've locked away from development. I mean, literally, you cannot have motorized other than the roads in.
Right.
You cannot have there's no trails for dirt bike riding, for mountain bike riding. None of that stuff happens in national parks
for preservation purposes.
It's designed to try and keep it. They don't allow dogs. This is a fairly serious thing. They want to keep it allow people to go, so they have a stake in preserving these things. But they want to really, really restrict any other use. I mean, literally, from the use of power tools, that sort of thing. That's a national park, and it's a infinitesimal amount of land in the United States.
Right.
That's a national park. National forests are very different. You can log. There's gold mining claims. There's cattle grazing. There's all kinds of stuff. And same with Bureau of Land Management.
Right.
That's also managed as resource land that is used for commercial purposes as well as recreation.
And there are great benefits to both of these concepts.
Totally.
Absolutely.
So the problem with changing these, and there are sections of the oceans that are within U.S. influence, U.S. waters, that are both operating much more like, say, the Alaska Marine Fisheries, that operates much more like a national forest than a national park.
Right, to manage and use these resources.
Yeah, these things, they're seemingly, if you were in one of these areas, they seem large. They're compared to the Pacific Ocean, they are not.
Right.
And they are not necessary for commercial fishing. And it's a shame that they're doing that, because no different than opening up a national park for logging, which we don't do right now, because there's plenty of Forest Service land to do that. It's a shame to allow commercial fishing. And I know people in the commercial fishing industry who are not in favor of this. They feel because that doesn't just keep our own, commercial fishing industry from going in there. It also keeps, it gives us, because then people are dropping dime on every poacher. And because this is the problem with fishing generally, is that people go into other, there's all kinds of disputes you don't hear about with Japanese and Russian trawlers in U.S. waters, or overfishing in international waters, which we can't really control. And so these areas also give sort of a little bit of power to the folks who report poaching in those areas, there is no one's supposed to be fishing there, and that's actually U.S. territory. And so there is things that will flow from this that are not going to. You are not going to see a penny in cheaper food.
Not a penny. Seafood
this
prices.
is much more because it's such a relatively small area, given how large the ocean is and how much.
I mean, they read about 500,000 square miles. This sounds massive,
but it's not. And it not in terms of where we fish and how much we fish and how much fish we buy from overseas and blah 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 blah. I mean, it's a tiny amount, so it's not going to actually move the needle. This is much more of a administration effort to declare that, hey, we are business first, even in situations like this that typically there are other administrations, including conservative administrations, had been reticent because they feel like, all right, let's preserve a small amount. But we don't need to preserve, there's so much more area that we can actually still fish in. Alaska Fisheries is a perfect example of that. It's actually considered a well-managed commercial fishery. This thing is, it's a lousy idea in a lot of ways. And even if you're a cynic, and even if all you want is cheaper seafood, this isn't going to help.
It's completely performative, right? I mean, one of the things the president said today during the Oval Office address was that there are already foreign interests fishing these monument areas, and that why if we're going to fish them, let's have Americans fishing them. Is he wrong about that?
No. This is the problem. But the nice thing is, if it is in U.S. waters, and if these are you can actually, we have to have patrols out there, and remember, one of the problems we're dealing with in fisheries is the rerouting of the Coast Guard from patrolling things like that to being an anti-terrorism organization, which happened after 9/11. The Coast Guard's mission became much more focused on sort of its
national security,
its kind of military end of the Coast Guard rather than this resources end of the Coast Guard. And because of that, and we haven't backfilled with any additional patrol, these areas are much more at risk. Adding our own fishing boats to it, I don't think is the way you actually want to solve something like this.
And as you say, and I think you're spot on, is to lower seafood prices. It's not commercial seafood. It's not commercial fishing in the Atlantic or the Pacific.
Allow additional and include environmental regulations. But if you want to lower seafood prices, find some way to do environmentally responsible fish farming and go with that, because that's gonna do more to lower seafood prices than opening up these areas.
Makes sense. Appreciate your insight. I mentioned Waymo because now I know how to say it. In San Francisco, a criminal robbed a Hot 8 yoga studio in the marina. You know the area better than me, Mike. Is it the marina?
Yeah.
Is that
the marina district? Yeah.
Okay, it's a district. It's not like a waterfront boat place.
Well, it is. But the marina famously
adjacent to the water
in the big Loma Prieta quake. The Marina District is the area of San Francisco that burned because it's all landfill. It's an area. It's an expensive area, and it's water adjacent, and so that it's kind of a fancy neighborhood.
Gotcha. Well, they got a Hot 8 yoga studio. Of course, it's a fancy neighborhood. A criminal robbed the place and had a getaway car waiting because he had hired a Waymo driverless vehicle to wait idling outside as he went in and robbed the yoga shop. Then hopped into the Waymo, a white Jaguar Waymo, by the way.
Yeah, I didn't know those existed.
I didn't either. I mean, I have to imagine it's an upsell. I've seen Uber luxury choices in my app.
You want to go unnoticed in the Marina District? Jaguar's way to go.
The story here, though, is that these driverless vehicles, they're able to navigate traffic, interact with human-driven cars because they have incredible sensors.
An array of cameras. Yeah.
27 cameras are on these vehicles. They monitor interaction and proximity to other vehicles, lane traffic,
pedestrians,
flows, the whole 9 yards,
that,
everything. This guy hired a Waymo, robbed a store, made his getaway in the vehicle, and the police have no evidence to find. They have no idea who the perpetrator was for this crime.
Right.
Is it because was he wearing a mask? I mean, is that the skinny here?
This story raised for me more questions than answers because it seemed pretty clear, and I actually don't 100% disagree with the companies. It means no different than when Apple was pushing back on the FBI that wanted all kinds of information from people's cell phones. This company, Waymo, has decided to make the government, whichever government it is, local or state or federal, prove its point. Why do you want this information? But there seemed like this is incredible gap between when the police went looking for this information that could have led to the thief, the robber, and the actual providing of information, which proved to be not very useful, because what's not explained is you have to have, you call these things on an app that ostensibly has a credit card number and
tied
an
into
ID.
it, yes.
I mean, at the very least, say using an assumed name with a stolen credit card, that would explain that question there.
Yeah.
The other ones are is there a way to expedite? Because, if this thing is effective like this, is there a way to expedite when law enforcement comes with the police? Like here is a robbery that happened. We would like this information. It seems to me like a company should have a capacity to deal with that, because time is important. Capacity to deal with that on an expedited level. But with the vast bulk of, like, when someone's just trying to do random research on people, I get it. Like, push back. That they should have a reason for that. But it seems like law enforcement should, if they want to do a search warrant on my house, they have to go to a court and get it. But when they show up, they get their information.
Comply. You better comply.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot I can do at that point, and I'm not sure why. The police seem to have these veiled criticisms of not being able to get information in this particular story. And so I'm not sure what's going on.
So with regard to these cameras that are on Waymos, my first thing is, you got 27 cameras, how can you not know? They know, they just won't share. Is this because it's a blue city in a blue state that doesn't like to interact with federal agencies or law enforcement communities?
I don't know.
From a general perspective?
I mean, I was perplexed from every detail of the story. Like, robbing a yoga studio? Like, wouldn't that all be paid through Venmo? And I'm like, what are you stealing exactly from a yoga studio?
I can't fathom this one.
Yeah, this one doesn't make a whole lot of sense top to bottom to me.
But this isn't the first time someone's used.
No.
I guess they're gig worker type cars. People use scooters.
Yeah,
to flee
the famous
crimes.
Laura brought up earlier the famous robbery of the Louvre Museum in Paris.
That's
some
right.
folks
They use rental gear,
rental
to roll
scooters.
Away. If the police need your help, give me your help.
Yeah.
This is such a throwback to the Seattle World Cup. Hey, Your Honor, the mayor, thank you very much for using common sense. And you, City of San Francisco, please work with
I mean,
law
and
enforcement
again, I
community.
want to be clear. Like, I am a big believer in, like, needing to prove you need that information before that information is handed over. Yeah, I'm a big believer in that. But I would say in some cases where a place was actually robbed, maybe there's a way to at least move that through the system a little bit more quickly when law enforcement is asking, because they're trying to catch someone who is actually at large at that point.
Yeah, here, and if they're robbing somebody, if they're crazy enough to rob a yoga studio, who knows what they're capable of? Let's get this guy off the street.
Or maybe unambitious enough. I mean, maybe this person is just going to chill for a long time before they bother to hatch their next relaxed robbery.
So here's a local story in our own community of Wallingford. I think we've all been able to relate to this because there's been a spree of irresponsible, inconsiderate, is that the way to frame it, parking. People who, and we've all experienced this, you drive around looking for parking in a city that is very tight on parking. Oftentimes neighborhoods have restrictions on parking. Laura, I know you live in a neighborhood that requires you to have a permit to park on the streets of your own community.
Cross your fingers for me that mine gets renewed. I just sent out that application.
Great. So in Wallingford, there have been people who have just been bad parkers who leave a half a space, put one car in two spots. And there's been a rash of nasty notes being left on the cars that don't know how to park. This is a tale as old as time.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough one because while I am not, I'd always try and park in a manner that maximizes, leaves the most available space for somebody else to park.
Respectful, considerate. Yes.
I am not predisposed. I have thought about printing up a bunch of stickers, just that essentially say the same thing as these notes, like, hey, idiot, why did you park like this?
But a sticker instead of a note, that feels a little more permanent.
I know. That's why I haven't done it, right? And if you see stickers out there, I didn't do it. I mean, I didn't do it. I've not done
right
this.
On the windshield,
but I think about it because in where I live, one of the problems is not just street parking idiots. It's also because where I live, a lot of the houses you enter from the alley. So the alley ends up being sort of, you get to know people in the alley better than you do across the street.
Okay.
And consequently, people will park then in the alley because they're driving in there and maybe they park close to their garage, but they don't actually, and those are not legal spots, but they tend to go unremarked, and there's mostly sort of this quiet understanding that if you park in a manner that allows everyone to get through and the garbage trucks to get through, fine.
Yeah,
we'll look
harm.
the other way.
No harm,
No one's gonna narc, right? But then you have these people who just like don't ever think about their effect on everyone else, and that's the thing in Wallingford. I'm kind of sympathetic to the person leaving the notes because it's such an easy thing to just be a little bit courteous all the time, just a little bit.
Especially in a city with such limited resources with regard to parking, we keep adding residents. We need more housing. We need more affordable housing. Yeah. With that comes you need parking. Someone is the suspected nasty note leaver in the community. They've taken to writing basically an "it wasn't me" note.
Yeah.
Whenever you see a note,
it's in front. So it tends to happen in front of a specific house.
One house.
Yeah. And people assume that it was that house. Apparently, at least we are told that it is not that house. The residents of that. So there's now angry notes and then disclaimers
that
are coming with the angry notes.
There's no retaliation to the yellow house.
Exactly.
I used to work with a guy I used to sell cars. So first off, you know what kind of element of humanity we're dealing with. I worked with a car salesman. I had a coworker that whenever in the car business, people come and go quickly in sales. You get these part-time salesmen. They come in, they try their hand at the occupation. It doesn't work out, and they leave behind a box of useless business cards. I had a friend who every time somebody quit or got fired, didn't pan out, he would take their box of used business cards, and that's where his nasty notes. When somebody couldn't park, he would write on the back of some other guy's business card with some other guy's printed name on it and write a nasty note and leave that on the windshield.
Yeah, that's not right.
That's not right.
Just own it.
Again, that's why I got out of the car business. The kind of people I was working with was just ridiculous. Yeah. I like your sticker idea. I won't ever do it.
I recommend not doing that, but
maybe it's used car salesman. But we still rearing its ugly head.
We all have those like low grade fantasies about like people who just are so aggressively and consistently inconsiderate.
Entry-level vigilantism with just a nasty note. I like it. You know the stickers that they put on the police use with the super glue?
Yeah.
That takes like a straight edge razor to get off. That's what you should use. I gotta let that idea go. I'm not going to use stickers. All right, folks. It's the Jake and Spike Show with Mike Lewis. When we come back, a local dance instructor is talking about the music she uses to motivate old folks. We're talking about, fitness classes and what kind of music gets them moving. And I was just kind of curious, what kind of music moves you? I'd love to have your input on this when we tell the story. What music moves you? We'll talk about it next.
This hour is brought to you by Davis Law Group.
KIRO News Radio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards. Breaking news coverage, best newscast, excellence in writing, investigative reporting, sports reporting, hard news. Capped with a prestigious prize for overall excellence. And we thank you, our audience across the Pacific Northwest. You are the reason we strive to be the Northwest's trusted news source. KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM.
Sorry, guys. I totally blew that when I was reading something. Folks, Spike O'Neill here after a much delay. Integrity Roofing and Construction do a phenomenal job. They can give you a free video inspection, free roof assessment. They do full restorations. They do repairs. They can completely replace your roof. They have a design team in-house. They do incredible work. Heat's coming for the summer. Check your insulation. Did your house get through the winter okay? Have them give it a look. Give them a call at 206-202-ROOF. That's 206-202-ROOF or online at integrityrc.com.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
When temperatures rise, the Murphy Auction Company rolls out the biggest online heavy equipment auction of the summer. Bidding is underway now. On the block, find a huge assortment of heavy equipment. contractors' equipment and vehicles, like 80 heavy trucks, 13 excavators, 5 backhoes, 9 forklifts, 3 skid steers, 2 asphalt pavers, and a 2002 Trail King 50-ton triaxle lowboy equipment trailer. Plus, a 2025 Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat with under 2,000 miles, contractors' tools, attachments, roll-off boxes, lumber, and much more. Preview all items June 16th and 17th, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at our location in Marysville, 3803 136th Street Northeast. This is the auction you don't want to miss. For pictures and all details, visit murphyauction.com. That's murphyauction.com. murphyauction.com.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor. You visit urgent care over and over again. And it's always the same thing, right? Oh, I know. Let's try antibiotics and some nasal sprays. But they just keep coming back. You may suffer with chronic sinus infections. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure called the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic. Imagine a procedure so delicate there are no narcotics. Less cutting means less bleeding, so no packing, and no operating room. The Sinusoft procedure is designed for the clinic. If you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, and congestion, find out if the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic, is the solution for you. Call and set an appointment today. 206-388-2770. 206-388-2770. That's 206-388-2770.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.
Snapshot from Progressive wasn't created for just anybody. Oh no, we made it for you. Gradual breakers. You keep your eyes on the road, so you've seen it all. As long as it all happened directly in front of you, like a Swedish masseuse, your foot knows exactly the right amount of pressure to apply to the brake. That's why your passengers feel totally relaxed with you behind the wheel and occasionally super sleepy. With Snapshot, safe drivers like you get personalized rates based on your driving habits. Sign up today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents.
Guys, tired all the time? Gaining weight? Low drive? These aren't just signs of aging. They could be low testosterone or other underlying issues. This June, for Men's Health Month, Revive Men's Health in Seattle is offering a free comprehensive wellness panel, a $400 value. It checks your testosterone, blood sugar, cholesterol, kidney, liver, thyroid, and heart health. No guessing, just answers. Over 100,000 men have trusted Revive to get real results. More energy, better sleep, improved mood, and confidence that shows. If something feels off, don't wait. Take control and protect your long-term health by knowing your numbers. This offer ends June 30th. Schedule your free comprehensive wellness panel today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com. Feel better, live stronger. Start now.
Nothing worse than clutter. With Closets by Design, everything will finally have its place. 40% off plus an additional 15% off and 18 months 0% financing on approved credit if paid in full. Closet.byDesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN.
KIRO Newsradio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. President Trump has called off new strikes on Iran, now saying he's close to making a deal with the country to wind down the conflict. ABC's Rachel Scott asked the president what makes this time different.
You have said before that Iran and the United States were close to a deal. It has not happened yet. Why are you so convinced that this time is different?
Because they've taken a pounding. They've taken a pounding like very few people could take. and they want to make the deal a lot more than I do.
Washington Congressman Adam Smith is not buying it. He's the ranking Democrat on the House Armed Services Committee, telling CNN.
The way out of this for Trump, logically, is to come up with one of his sort of framework agreements that doesn't actually agree to anything. But that's been on the table for several weeks now, and there's been no progress made. And to date, whenever Trump says we have a deal and Iran says we don't, Iran turns out to be right.
President says a peace deal could be signed this weekend. Iranian state media have quoted the country's foreign minister saying nothing has been finalized. More problems at King County's Regional Homelessness Authority after auditors say the agency still is not addressing significant financial problems. KIRO News Radio's John Repp with the latest.
The news site Publicola reports not just one red flag, but 7 red flags from auditors. You'll recall the initial audit uncovered $13 million in money the agency couldn't account for, along with $44 million in operating deficits. Auditors now say the plan to fix those issues still ignores several high-risk problems. This all comes as County Executive Gurmai Zahalai gave his State of the County address last night.
In the first 6 months of this administration, we have spent significant time confronting the challenges that have tested public confidence.
John Repp, KIRO News Radio.
Washington Congresswoman Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez is calling for more research into pain treatments during miscarriages after sharing her own recent pregnancy loss.
Miscarriage is hard, but when your body doesn't let go of a miscarriage, it gets harder.
Her proposal is directing the National Institutes of Health to study ways to better manage miscarriage pain. Takes us to 2:33, and we turn now to the real-time traffic desk with Nate Connors.
Thanks, Aaron. This one brought to us by the Lake Washington Windows and Doors. We still have a full closure southbound 3 through Silverdale at Newberry Hill Road, where we have a dump truck on its side, and it spilled a full load of dirt across the roadway. No estimated time when this is going to be cleaned up and the highway reopened. Hood Canal northbound 3, we've got a 2-mile bumper-to-bumper backup heading up toward the bridge. Eastbound 104, minimal backup due to a recent marine crossing. Here in Seattle, South 5, it is bumper to bumper from 85th all the way to I-90 now. 35 minutes from Linwood in the downtown. North 5 jams up at the Michigan Curve in the downtown. Seattle to Federal Way is a half-hour commute. Southbound 167, we're stop and go between Algona and Sumner. And Tacoma to Olympia, we're up to 50 minutes. You've got a 3-mile backup through JBLM and more crowding heading into Olympia. Right now, Lake Washington Windows and Doors has given the first 40 June signups with 5 or more windows a free patio door, plus 12 months free financing. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com. KIRO News Radio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Nice, warm, sunny weather the next couple of days. The weekend we heat up into the mid-80s on Saturday. Could see some records broken on Sunday. Right now, 70 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Welcome back to the show. Spike O'Neill along with Mike Lewis, sitting in for Jake Skorheim. Laura found this story, and I absolutely love this. Not just because it's a warm story about people who care and helping people get through their days. It kind of relates to me in my later stage of life. Benji Santos is a former dancer and choreographer of 30-year career. When she reached a certain age where most people hang up their dance shoes, their tap shoes, and grab a seat in the theater, this is from a Como News piece through the Associated Press, Benji decided that she wanted to keep moving, so she became an instructor at the YMCA of Greater Seattle. She is now 72 years old, Benji, and in her 14th year teaching senior fitness classes at the Y. Her clientele averages, all of them are over 50. They're averaging their 70s. And she says she's connected to these citizens, these residents of Washington, going to the YMCA, because she's older and she can relate to an older clientele that needs to keep moving, and that she can understand them, who they are, what they need. She knows the restrictions that an aged body will put on them, put the moves put on their bodies, and she speaks. She plays the music. She goes everything from Doris Day to Louis Armstrong, sometimes hip hop.
Yeah, I think it's great, and I think that she probably does a pretty good. I mean, I think that even without her saying anything, if you walk into the room and see someone who is age appropriate,
yes, yes,
I think that probably is a good way to start. I think that anytime, I mean, it's weird. You get to this age, like say I am now, and it's nice to see I don't know, a doctor within 20 years. And I mean, you feel like that person is intrinsically, you give them a lot more latitude because you just feel like they kind of know what it's like.
And they don't have to ask half the questions.
Exactly. And my guess is the dance instructor as well, that people walk in, and some of these folks have been going to it for years, but a new person walks in and thinks like, all right, this person kind of understands where I'm coming from.
They know
what's happened, over the course of years to everybody, regardless of how fit you stay. When you start aging, There's no way around it. And I imagine that also goes a long way. And then they find out she's, dynamite at what she does anyway.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of nice. Here's a funny thing. So I was talking with my friend, and we both have been, like, since we were kids, we both love motorcycles. And we were talking about how great it was, when we were younger. We had these older, mostly guys who's kind of, even if they were reluctant, and even if you just hassled them with questions all the time, but were kind of your lodestars for figuring out, like, how do I work on this? How do I, writing, all the stuff that comes along with it. The people who had already built a community that you could sort of work your way into.
Yeah.
Like in my friend's case, it was, he grew up in Chicago and all these old guys with Vincent motorcycles back when they weren't all sort of museum pieces, but when people actually rode them, right?
Maintained them and rode them, yeah.
So
a lot of maintaining.
And then we were talking about this, a shame, like, because we run into young people every now and then, say some guy or girl in their 20s who's just getting into bikes, and that there's a problem with, like, these older mentors just not existing anymore. And there's been a lot of discussion, specifically sociological discussion, on young men not having mentors, in any great degree. And we're going back and forth on this, and I said, it's a shame that they don't have them. And then we looked at each other and we're like, oh, I guess we're supposed to be them. That's actually supposed to be us,
How
right?
come nobody's doing that,
Mike? Exactly. Like, why aren't they older? Oh wait, that's me now. So it is a reminder that it's nice to get to that place and, like other people do, and maybe give back once you get there.
You mentioned doctors. We had a family doctor for us, our general practitioner, GP, for over 30 years. My wife and I, and this Dr. Friedman, raised both my kids in his office, knew everything about us. We didn't have to go through our history every time. And he retired about 3 years ago. And first off,
kind of traumatic.
Finding a new GP is hard. No one's taking new clients anymore.
Very.
And it's been, trial and error. My wife and I finally found a doctor we really, really like.
Yeah.
But the kid is literally less than half my age. But it's funny. Let me ask you this. He's Asian.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's neither here nor there for me, but he has an understanding of my life.
Right.
That I don't know that someone who doesn't have a multi-generational life experience, which I think is more common in that community than mine.
Yeah.
He really understands the things about my body and my age, and it's comforting. It's reassuring.
Yeah, I mean, I think that happened with me twice now. I've had two doctors retire, both of whom I felt, because they were both, like, sort of, in my age cohort. Both were older than me, but both in my age cohort, and I kind of liked it. And then I ended up with a new doctor who's much, much younger. But I always try and give people the benefit of not just the benefit of the doubt. They're doctors. They're obviously much better informed about this stuff than I am. But I wait to see how well they listen. And
the bedside manner you can't get in school.
All of that kind of stuff. And if someone's got that, then, fine. If they don't know, they thank goodness they don't know everything what it's like to be, my age, right? They're going to get there, hopefully, and they're going to get their own, education on that. But it's weird to have that happen, because you just assume they're going to be around, forever.
Yeah, you don't expect that you're going to outlive your doctor.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess you should. If he's doing his job, you should.
Yeah, hopefully.
Getting back to the fitness instructor, it's such a comforting thing to, like you said, walk through the door, see somebody close to your own age, who knows how far you can go, isn't going to push you further. When you walk into a fitness class, if you're my age, you walk into a fitness center, get a personal trainer or whatever, or talk to somebody at the gym, and these guys are, they have no concept of how hard it is for me just to do the basic things.
Well, and also you get to be a certain age, right? And you become a lot more invisible, to society as whole, and to walk into a place and be seen. Like, one of my favorite things in Seattle that doesn't exist anymore. When I first got into town, there's a place, a little divey bar in Queen Anne, not far from the Post-Intelligencer, which is where I worked at the time. called Sorry Charlie's. Sorry Charlie's turned into a place called the Miraboo Room, and then a place called Spectator, and now it's a CVS. It's been torn down. So
people get their thrills in different ways now. It used to be a drink, now it's
exactly. But the thing about Sorry Charlie's, there was a guy named Howard Bolson. Howard Bolson's late Howard Bolson. Was a well-known jazz piano player here, and so he used to play at Bill's off Broadway.
Okay,
had a consistent set there, but also was just well regarded in town. On I think it was Sunday nights, he used to do this karaoke night. Yeah. And the karaoke night was him accompanying you.
Live
right.
piano company.
So uphill from Sorry Charlie's, where the CVS is now, is Bayview Retirement Home. It's a tower. I mean, there's a lot of retirees living in that place. And every Sunday night, they dress up like a bunch of them and come down there. And Howard was the kindest. Yeah, he would change both key and meat. He would find
meet that singer.
He would make make you sound as good as you possibly could, because there were some really good singers that show up there, and some like every karaoke night, and some really terrible ones. But he was patient, and he knew everything off the top of his head. I used to just go down there and hang out just to watch, because it was cool, especially the fact that everyone dressed up for it. It was
beautiful.
Awesome. That's one of the things I will miss in Seattle for the rest of my life.
Amen. All right, folks. When we come back, we'll bring you the best of the text messages you gave us, your input into the show, and your reaction to the stories we covered. Coming up right next on Jake Spike Show. Mike Lewis.
KIRO News Radio, winner of 7 regional Edward R. Murrow Awards, including overall excellence and investigative reporting.
Just 29 hours later, Joshua Headley sent an unsolicited email to me writing, "I understand there may be a news story coming out."
Thank you who listen, stream, and watch every day. The driving force that pushes us to be the Northwest trusted news source. KIRO News Radio. 97.3 FM.
Hey, Spike O'Neill for Aegis Living. Recently, my aunt had surgery. She came home that very next day, but we had some, we didn't sure if we had the expertise to give her the kind of care and attention that she deserved. So we called my friends at Aegis Living and asked about respite care. That's short-term stays at Aegis Living, whether it's 2 days, 2 weeks, 24/7 expert medical attention, plus all the amenities that come with an Aegis Living facility. If it's what your family is looking for, give my friends at Aegis a call or go visit aegisliving.com/spike. Schedule a visit. That's aegisliving.com/spike.
Don't wait, insulate. Last year, American Crawl Space and Pest Services gave over $2 million in insulation rebates from PSE, more than any provider in the state. If your home was built before 1990, you're eligible for recouping up to 95% of insulation replacement costs. Insulate with American Crawl Space and keep your home warm during the winter and cool during the summer.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
I just can't dig it.
Dig what?
My water line.
Needs replacing?
And I don't want digging in my yard.
And maybe your driveway.
Can't dig it.
Don't dig it.
But how do you?
Apollo Plumbing replaces water lines without digging up your yard.
You're Dan.
From the Ready Right Now plumbers.
Apollo Plumbing.
Our trenchless technology replaces water and sewer lines.
Without digging up my yard?
2 little holes is all it takes.
Sounds better.
Faster, too.
And my yard?
Like we were never there.
Sounds spendy.
Not so much.
Oh?
In the end, about the same as that messy digging you don't want.
How do you figure?
Think about that landscaping you love.
Yeah?
Trenchless means you won't be paying to replace it.
Or my driveway.
We run everything underground.
Trenchless?
Do them all the time.
How about...
Easy payments?
Yeah.
With approved credit. Sure thing.
When can you get started?
We are the Ready Right Now plumbers.
Love that.
Apollo Plumbing, trenchless waterline replacement.
Sewer lines, too.
Can you dig that?
That I can.
ApolloPlumbing.com.
You could sleep through the night without thinking twice. You could take a seat in the middle of the theater. You could drive without worry of where the next restroom is. You used to say yes, and somewhere along the way, you stopped. Not because of one big moment, because of 100 small ones. A little more urgency, one more trip to the bathroom at 2 a.m., one more mental note about where the restroom is. It happened slowly enough that it just became you.
But it's not you. It's enlarged prostate, and there's a treatment called aquablation therapy, the only ultrasound-guided robotic-assisted therapy for enlarged prostate. Find an aquablation therapist near you. Call Aquablation Seattle at 206-666-2466. 206-666-2466. That's 206-666-2466. All surgical treatments carry risks, and results may vary. Side effects may include urinary symptoms, mild pain, ejaculatory dysfunction, or infection. In rare cases, complications to the urethra and rectum may occur. Aquablation therapy may not be right for everyone. Talk to your urologist to learn more. Visit aquablationseattle.com.
What if you could have the most reliable fiber-powered Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? During the Xfinity Summer Savings Event, now through June 15th, new customers can get our best price on gig Wi-Fi, just $50 a month for 5 years. And get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi. It's Wi-Fi that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a sixth sense. Plus, add one line of Xfinity Mobile Select and you can save an average of $60 a month over Verizon and AT&T. You can even try it free for a year. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities during the Xfinity Summer Savings Event. Get it now at Xfinity.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Savings based on 1 gig internet and 1 mobile select line compared to similar Verizon and AT&T plans over 5 years. After 12 months, regular rates apply to mobile select. Xfinity internet required. Speeds vary. Use of fiber coaxial cable.
Whatever the heat index, stay cool this summer. Your local Bryant dealer can make sure your system is up to the task. Whether it's maintaining your current system or installing an energy-efficient Bryant Evolution cooling system with perfect Humidity Plus technology, your dealer will give you what you need to help your family beat the heat. Learn more and schedule an appointment with a factory-authorized dealer today at BryantNorthwest.com. That's BryantNorthwest.com. Bryant, whatever it takes.
Step inside and let the excitement take you places. This is Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the ultimate spot for action that reaches incredible heights, luxury that knows no bounds, and live entertainment that always thrills. It's all at one incredible destination. So when you look for the best, look nowhere else. Muckleshoot Casino Resort, the biggest and best in the Northwest. Muckleshoot.
Epic parties start at Staples. Now you can grab Party City balloons, decorations, and tableware, plus matching custom invites, banners, and more right at Staples. That was easy.
For over 50 years, Bucky's Complete Auto Repair has been the one locals trust for fast, friendly service with guaranteed repairs. With 16 family-owned locations and a Carfax preferred badge, Bucky's makes it easy with same-day service and available financing. Visit Bucky's.com.
Olympic Hot Tub has more ways than ever to achieve total wellness at home. Immerse yourself in a saltwater hot spring spa and let jets melt stress away. Enjoy a refreshing swim in an endless pool swim spa. Retreat to healing warmth and detox in a Tilo sauna. Then awaken mind and body with a cold plunge. You'll be saying, ah, in no time. Your path to wellness starts today at Olympic Hot Tub. Current specials with exciting savings at OlympicHotTub.com. Better you, better life.
There you go, folks. Welcome back to the show. Time now to get to the Muckleshoot Casino Resort text line. Your input in the show today. We got a lot of feedback today. Laura, why don't you get us started?
Yeah, on Mike Lewis filling in, Dave in Redmond says, oh, how wonderful to hear Mike on with you, Spike. I do wish Mike was a regular back on KIRO. Yeah, I'm one of your P1 listeners from back in the day.
This means the check got to you, Dave?
Well, also got to Mindy, too, because Mindy in Buffalo says, what a bonus. They love it when Mike fills in.
Mindy also receives a check.
So do
we need to call it something Mike and Spike on the mic.
There you go.
On World Cup tickets, Nazi in Port Orchard. You also have to think of the teams visiting Egypt, Belgium, etc. These are not teams that travel well for their respective teams. That's entirely true. These are not hot ticket items in any regard. We shouldn't have been surprised that attendance is lower.
Jesus says, I told you it was going to be a bust a year ago, and it scared off our regular tourist travel.
From Tamara and Tacoma. Wait, the parking garages next to the stadium will be totally empty? Whoa, I am regretting my Mariners tickets now for next Friday.
Hey, that's where a ferry could come in.
Yeah, no kidding.
On the bull at an Oregon rodeo that escaped into the crowd, and now people are suing. Scott in the 360 says, I was at a rodeo in Winthrop one year when a bull went through the fence and got into the crowd. No one was hurt. You're sitting on a terraced hillside. Everyone moved out of the way, and the cowboys came and roped and herded it back in. The next year, the fences were beefed up.
Well put. Gary says, I'm not mad that a random person ended up with a broken bone instead of the bull rider. Maybe the reward should be equal to
This
first
is it.
place.
They all get the big buckle. Everyone who got attacked by the bull gets
You know
the
what?
big
That
buckle.
would actually make me feel better. I'm not going to lie.
Like if they handed you one of those, I'd wear
You
it.
put that in your
Absolutely,
living room. You have a
100%.
story when people come over for dinner.
And you're always wearing that buckle.
Oh my God, that is so great.
From B and Puyallup. I'm going out to see Spike and the Impalers tomorrow. Hey, congratulations, Spike.
Yeah.
I am risking good vibes and cold beer.
Oh, yeah. No Bulls will run the audience. So we're playing the Meeker Days in Puyallup tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Hope you guys can make it out. On President Trump using national park fees for vanity projects in D.C.
That was my editorializing, by the way.
Well, no. I think that's a pretty common understanding of the situation. Barbara says, Mike seems so, it is what it is. No, I'm fired up. I have a grandson born on Earth Day, and every year I donate money to our parks in his name and find little-known environmental charities in dire need that we can help. I do want Trump to. Let me read that right. Do I want Trump to steal my hard-earned money and give to our parks? I give local this year.
Oh, that makes some sense. And absolutely, Barbara, you're raising a good point. I was trying not to sound like that, but I ended up sounding exactly like that. Jenny in Tacoma, they are using the American taxpayers / government money to make property to make money. Tickets to the UFC event are not free. Just because it happened before doesn't mean it should continue. We're back in the robber baron days. And I think that money that they're selling tickets for is probably going to Dana White.
It is going to Dana White.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that the lawsuit try to stop this fight, which isn't going to happen. The fight's going to happen. The lawsuit's going nowhere. You know, they made a big point about how the UFC is covering the costs of building that $60 million.
Which we're going to keep. It's often been compared to the Eiffel Tower. Did you know that?
I have heard it compared. It's almost an exact twin.
I've heard it compared to one of those claw machines.
Claw machines.
That's probably
if you can reach down and grab a wrestler,
Yeah.
I'd watch that. And to see this celebration of the American 250th birthday, you have to be a subscriber.
So
Paramount Plus for $9.99 a month.
A quick aside on this claw machine.
Yeah.
I had a friend who was attending, for good reasons, an addiction therapy group for people who had various addictions, and everyone had to stand up and say their addiction, alcohol, drugs, blah, 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 blah. There's a guy in the room who was hesitant and finally got up and said he was addicted to the claw. And that's why he was there. He couldn't stop playing the claw.
I watched a show in Japan.
It's big there. When we were in Japan, there are these palaces, like you think of a pachinko palace, filled with the versions of the claw machine.
This one guy was spending $800 a week at the claw machine.
I can't imagine.
It's like, you can buy everything in that machine for less than $800, right? 253 says the reflecting pool and fountains have been in disrepair or not functioning for years. I believe they are part of the park system. Just fixing what should have been fixed a long time ago. 253, I agree with you completely. The problem is we spent 4 times what was projected with a no-bid contract, and that kind of thing we can't tolerate.
From C in Arlington. Hey, and by the way, thank you folks for weighing in with my mild obsession on the ferries. I appreciate you. There's other people out there like me. Hey guys, we rode the Eastern Washington Keller Ferry about 30 years ago. When I saw it coming across the river, I told my husband there's no way I'm getting on that thing. Best ferry ride ever. Held only 12 cars. The day we were on it, we were the only vehicle, our truck and camper. You need to check it out. Thank you for a great show.
Oh, that's nice.
Bernie and Squim says, and I think he's told the story before, but it's so good, we'll read it again. Bernie and Squim says, National Geographic moment on the Port Townsend Keystone Run. I was front row going to Whidbey Island and had my book on the steering wheel while listening to the radio. There's one of the huge navigation buoys up ahead with a monster sea lion sunning itself. The buoy is tilted quite a bit. A great white shark hit the sea lion and dragged it into the depths amidst swirling red, white, and pink bubbles. The buoy's going back and forth, its bell clanging, and I lock eyes with the guy in the car next to me, and we're pointing and mouthing words and gesticulating wildly, and the boat just slips by all in 2 seconds. Shark Week, baby.
Shark Week, baby.
I saw something similar, although I saw it just after the attack off the Fairlawns outside of past Golden Gate Bridge, and it was two or three sharks attacking an elephant seal, and it was violent. I had never seen
Nature,
anything
baby.
like this before.
You think that's fun? Coming up next, the John Curley Show. Folks, thanks so much for your time this afternoon. Mike Lewis, always a pleasure. Great job.
Absolutely.
Thanks so
Good
much
time.
for your time today. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow. Don't go anywhere.
Choke Points with Chris Sullivan.
With Choke Points, we try to answer listeners' questions. It can be as simple as a neighborhood stop sign, or it can be as big as the budget for transportation. I don't care. I'll find the answer for you. It's really easy to get a hold of me at mynorthwest.com. We have a direct link there that gets right to me. You can also do it in the app. You can hit me up on the text line.
Choke Points, presented by Carter Subaru. Tuesdays and Thursdays on KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So, then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hey, it's Jason Rantz. If your air conditioner is barely hanging on, CM Heating has one of the best offers I've heard this summer. Right now, you can get any size high-efficiency AC system for just $179.99 a month with zero upfront cost. And here's the game changer. CM Heating's Comfort as a Service program includes lifetime repairs, annual maintenance, and even filters at no additional charge ever. Go to cmheating.com and schedule your free estimate online today.
License number CMHEAHL 751LW.
Please be advised. You may want to stop eating the following foods immediately: broccoli, kale, bean sprouts, blueberries, quinoa, spinach.
Wait, what? I thought those were good for me.
Turns out, not for everyone. Because what's healthy for one person can cause inflammation for another. And the only way to really know what your body needs is to listen to it.
Listen how?
That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to understand what's happening inside you right now. When your results come in, you'll learn exactly which foods to eat, which to avoid, and which supplements are right for you. All based on the world's largest RNA-based human biology database and thousands of clinical research studies. And many people who use Viome report more energy, better digestion, and a better mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing. Learn more at Viome.com/gut. V as in Victor, IOME.com/GUT. And use coupon code GUTHEALTH50 to save $50 off your purchase. Viome. Trust your gut.
Upgrade your home with Lake Washington Windows and Doors. Be among the first 40 June projects to sign up for 5 or more installed windows and receive a free patio door. Plus, enjoy 12 months no interest, no payments financing. LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Do you get sinus infections, congestion, sinus pressure and pain, sinus headaches? You've gone to the doctor. You visit urgent care over and over again. And it's always the same thing, right? Oh, I know. Let's try antibiotics and some nasal sprays. But they just keep coming back. You may suffer with chronic sinus infections. The good news? Relief is possible. How? A minimally invasive procedure called the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic. Imagine a procedure so delicate there are no narcotics. Less cutting means less bleeding, so no packing, and no operating room. The Sinusoft procedure is designed for the clinic. If you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, and congestion, find out if the Sinusoft procedure, available only at the Modern Nose Clinic, is the solution for you. Call and set an appointment today. 206-388-2770. 206-388-2770. That's 206-388-2770.
If you're hurt in a car accident, call